Good morning.
Morning, good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. What's happening?
Let's go upgrade some lives today. What do you think?
I'm up for it. Let's change some lives, set some new perspectives, get some goals, get people moving in the right direction.
And teach some new shit. I like that idea
Sure,
too.
absolutely.
I've got some things that I slipped into the slides last night as I was up inspired. So even Chris will be surprised at some of these slides this morning.
I got this sun right in me. I'm going to move around a little bit.
View slides, present. All right, 9 o'clock on the dot. Let's go because we got a lot to cover today. So again, good morning, everybody. Hope you got some great content yesterday and took away some ideas and put an extra deal or two in your pocket for this quarter. And today, I know this is one of Chris's major passions and mine too. It's all communications, guys, and we're gonna have some fun with this one. So this section is called the art of attraction, and I just added connection because attraction is one thing. Connection is where the money is, though, right? The attract and close. You've got to attract, connect, and go. So we're going to talk about how understanding that law, the art, then science, because there is science behind it. It is an art, and there's a couple universal laws to it too. So let's roll through here. I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to bring it into context here today, and then we could chat about this for a second. Before you cause anybody to take any action, you have to have their attention and trust, right? Attention and trust. There's nothing else. There's no way you can get anybody to do anything else.
You can't influence anybody without having any of those things. You can't relate to them without really having any of those things. And that's your goal. That's the initial goal that you're looking for.
Now let's put this into context, because you can walk into a store and buy a purse from a salesperson you hate, right? But that's a different scenario, right? That's just a means to an end. They're just in the way of a transaction. This is actually attracting and connecting a tribe member, a sphere, a lifetime value of $130,000, $140,000. It's connecting and entering into their world. And the action is to think about you. So in order to get them to think about you, we have to capture their attention and trust. So there's a simple formula. I recommend you tattoo it backwards on your forehead. So every time you look into the mirror, you see it right there. Attention plus trust equals action. So let's talk about this for a second, Chris, because I wrote this down last night. Trust is a caveman style subconscious reaction to tiny modalities and submodalities that make or break your career unknowingly.
That's true. I mean, they're things that are inside of you. You don't even realize that they're there. Like you have natural inhibitions, natural urges, natural things that you do, and so does everybody else. And I'm sure I know what we're heading towards and getting into, so I don't want to dive too much into it. But you're naturally looking for those things in everybody that's out there. That's what you're searching for while you're going about your day, going about your business. And that's where those connections of trust are. And they're subconscious. And these modalities, there's so many different ways to connect to everybody, whether it's personality, the way you move, the way you think, the way your eyes look, the way you talk, all of those little tiny things. And you don't realize them. And that's where we really need to focus on, is getting down to understanding and realizing where those are at in ourselves. And that's where we're headed today.
That's where we're heading today. Before we get a little deeper, because guys, we're going deep today, and this is going to be transformational to whatever stage of career you're in right now. But I want to throw one thing out here. This requires you to pay attention. This requires you to think. This requires you to really connect and give somebody the greatest respect in the world is actually presence, right? And be present with people and actually listen and understand and get to them and connect with them, which means you can't be worrying about words, right? I'm not going to blend sessions here, but when Chris and I go in to do scripts in another session later on today, you have to have the words internalized, guys, because if I'm sitting here wondering about what I'm going to say, I can't pay attention to how you're doing and the modalities and the submodalities we're going to go into in just a second. It's impossible. So there's 0% chance you're going to be a superstar unless you internalize your presentations, right? I'm going to just say there's 0% chance. Now you could be a marginal producer and do 10, 12, 15 deals just because you were the high school prom queen and you know everybody, and that's fine. But to get to a 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 deal producer level, it's physically impossible unless you're completely go on autopilot with your presentation process. And then you can actually connect and really connect with people. So that's what we're going to get in today, because I put caveman style subconscious reaction, because that's what this is. And most people go through life just letting it happen to them, but not us. We're going to make sure that our tribe is elevated, and we're going to do a lot better than other people.
I want to emphasize one of the first statements that you made when you got to that slide was the greatest gift and respect you can give somebody is your presence. And that is so important, and it's so simple. It really is such a simple concept, but you really have to really understand what that means. And we really dig into it a little bit more, but just understanding what Jeff really said. Get out of your head. Don't worry about what you're going to say. You really have to understand who you are so you can pay attention to who the person across from you is and be present in every aspect of communication you're going to give them. The way you're looking at them, the way you're talking to them, the way they're looking at you, talking to you, the words they use, all of those things. That's so important. Your presence in those appointments on the phone, in person, via Zoom is so incredibly important. And like you said, that is the greatest respect you can give somebody, is to be present in every moment with them. And that's where you earn that trust.
Absolutely, 1000%. That is the key to this business. And we built on yesterday when Craig and I were doing the art of real estate. We talked about the personality profiles, right? The D, the I, the S, the C, understanding who you are and how you operate. That's the foundation. If I'm walking into a presentation to meet somebody and I know that I'm a high D, high I, which I am, right? Then that brings with it a lot. And I have to be aware of it and conscious about that, because if I'm about to go present to a high C, right, I have to make some internal shifts. Would you guys agree with that? But I have to be self-aware and conscious enough, right, to go into a different mode to pay the highest level of respect, which is to present in a manner that these people operate, right? That's really it. We're going to go a lot deeper on that thought in just a second, so stay with us here. This is a concept I like to kind of throw in here, and I do it every next level: brain plasticity. And for those who may have been in the medical field or just read, it's basically it's an old dog can learn new tricks, right? It's absolutely happens that the brain forms new connections between neurons. So what we're doing is teaching you things you've never known before. So there's no resistance allowed, because your brain's going to learn it no matter what. So I just want you to pay attention that you are forming new connections inside while we're doing this one. So let's go deep. Finish this sentence, Chris. People like people who are
like themselves, or like somebody who they want to be like.
Correct.
Right? So people like people who are like themselves. So if they like people who are like themselves, you have to know who you are, the things that you like, and you start identifying that people are going to like those qualities in you, just as you're going to like some of those qualities in somebody else. They're going to like the things you like. They're going to like the way you dress, the way you do your hair, the way you talk, the way you walk. They're going to start liking those things. Or they like people who are like how they would like to be like, how they would see themselves in their own mind if they could be this perfect person. So they like people who are like themselves or like how they want to be like.
Okay, now this is an important aspect. This is not a conscious step, okay? This is a instantaneous fight or flight, DNA structured caveman response, okay? Yep. Really important you can recognize this, guys. If somebody walks into a room, instantly we judge them. Instantly we size them up. Instantly we're going up and down, and we're prejudging. We're doing everything we're not supposed to do, but we're doing it because of survival-based mechanism. And internally, our drunk monkey, we met him yesterday, is saying, this guy's going to kill me, yes or no? That's instantaneous what it is.
Well, let's tie in yesterday's, your like DISC-VAK. They're going to express that to people around them in a way that helps you to understand what they're thinking. They're going to say, that person looks like somebody who I would get along with. I just feel like they're a good person. You know, just when I'm around them, it just sounds and feels like everything's just a good thing. They're going to start expressing that in those ways too.
Yep, absolutely. Wait till you see some of the modalities I added in last night. You're going to get a kick out of it. Yep. So let's go deeper. So if you just meet somebody, and this was an interesting study. This was a Facebook study that it really fascinated me when I read it. It was just an article that I read. I got targeted on it. But it says, in order to have, it was actually an article about love, and can people create a scenario where love just happens. And the answer was yes, as a scientific issue, as long as there were 3 commonalities with somebody that was enough of a foundation to create the trust and the bond, which lets the guards down, which creates love, right? This is a long story, large article summarized, but 3 commonalities. So I want you to think about that. When you're meeting somebody, guys, remember, this is the largest financial transaction in their life, and they're gonna wanna feel comfortable with you. So 3 commonalities is what is the foundation of a connection. So if I'm walking through somebody's house and I happen to see fishing poles, right? Then, and I like to fish, there's a commonality. Simple, right? If I see a sports team that I happen to like too, I'm not faking this, it's an actual real commonality, then that's another one that I'm going to do. If they have kids and it looks like they're the same age, they play the same sports as mine, there's a commonality, right? You get it? This is the thing. So that's people like people who are like themselves. So if you like the things that they like, and truly you can't fake this shit, right? Don't say I love golf and then they ask you a question, if you never played a round in your life, you're going to look like a fraud, right? So this is a commonality, real true commonality of connection
Real
on
life,
this one.
real life example. Yesterday, one of my old neighbors wants to sell their house. I'm driving up to their house. I pull up to their driveway. I've got a newer Ram 1500. He just bought a week ago a Ram 1500.
There you go.
One, stick it in my brain. I also see in the back, they didn't have a pool a year ago. I just built a pool about a year and a half ago. He just built a pool about 6 months ago. There's boom. Number 2, you start paying attention to all those things, shuffle them away in your brain as you're going through that, and then you're going to use them at that prime example. Those commonalities are going to be key. That's where that connection gets going. The trust starts building. You're showing them that respect. You're getting respect back, and you're just making progress little by little with those little commonalities. That's your in. That's what's really going to help you connect with them.
Absolutely. Here's the short circuit, the secret way into this though. The coolest person in the world is you, okay? The coolest person in the world is that guy in his world, okay? That's the safest, let me rephrase the word, the safest, most trustworthy person in the world is him, right? The least likely person to harm him in the entire planet is him. You guys get that? So that's trust. He loves that person. He loves everything about that person because that person is the safest, most trustworthy, coolest person he knows in his world. So you enter the equation, and the closer you are to that, people who are like themselves. So those commonalities start to come in, and instantly you're part of the cool tribe, right? He likes you, and now you're aligned with him. You're less likely to kill him. Guys, I told you this is caveman style thinking, but it is. It's a subconscious thing. Do I like this guy? If Chris pulled up in a little bright pink Volkswagen Beetle with some flowers sticking out of the front of it, and the guy's got his Ram truck, new one there, not the same connection. Okay, different tribe, different thinking, different purchasing aspects. You guys get it? So we'd have to find other ways to connect. But because he had the car, they just put a pool, and they have those things. He's almost like a parallel brother from another universe. Like, oh my God, I found you. Where have you been all my life? Subconscious.
Friend. Look, friends. In their brain, that's what they're thinking.
Exactly.
They have to just throw their arms up and give you a hug at that point. But inside, that's what they're thinking. Like, oh, come on in. Let's talk some more.
That's it, right? And then you win. And here's the scary part, guys. This connection happens within 3 to 7 seconds. You either have the deal or you're done. There's no coming back from it. That's it. I'm telling you, 7 seconds face to face, 7 seconds Zooming. Okay, 7 seconds. That's it. And you lost it. Now, what's happening during those 7 seconds? I put 3 seconds because 3 seconds is over the phone, right? 3 seconds is all you have to capture their attention and trust, right? And that's hard to do. It's a whole different skill set. We have to do a whole other class on that. I'm going to go face to face and zoom in right now. 7 seconds. What happens during that 7 seconds? What are they doing?
They're basically creating their own movie in their head of who you are. They're analyzing. Their brain is literally taking every single thing that it possibly can. Where normally your brain is like this, and then their brain now puts on some blinders. And they are focused clearly on you, trying to identify, like you said, am I fighting? What am I doing here? Where am I supposed to go? How's this going to go? Inside, they're asking all these questions in their head during that 3 to 7 seconds, and it's natural. They can't control it. They have no idea it's even going on, and they're not aware of it, but it's happening.
And here's what they're looking at. This is happening on a subconscious level. They, like Chris just said, they're comparing and contrasting you. If you remind them of their Uncle Raul and they hate Uncle Raul, you're dead. Nothing you did, right? You just look like them. or you talk like them, or here's the other things that they're looking at. Eye contact, right? Talk about eye contact. Eye contact, it's fascinating for me, Chris, I know you've got little kids you're raising too, to look at it from a different perspective. I've got a little 8-month-old, right? She's learning things that she didn't even know she's learning, and eye contact's one of them, right? Am I actually saying, okay, today we're having a lesson, Rami, and today from 10:30 to 11, we're going to teach the science of eye contact. No, she just noticed, how do I look at her, right? And do I stare at her? Do I look at her for a long time? Do I look at her lovingly? Is it a long gaze? Is it a short gaze? Do I look left? Do I look right? This is just registering her and how people look at each other, right? And that's her survival round. That's what's influencing her. Same thing when she sees grandpa or mom or all that stuff come over. That same thing happened to us. We learned eye contact by watching our tribe. We learned our facial expressions by watching our tribe. Our postures, our hand gestures, everything, how we communicate is a direct reflection of our conditioning, because we are conditioned just like dogs. Every single one of us. You were trained by your mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, neighbors, teachers, everybody who had influence and had your attention, right? Molded you to a certain age during your formative years. And that's what made you you, right? And you're perfect just the way you are.
That's what I was just about to say. It's not right or wrong. They are not right or wrong. You are not right or wrong. But like we talked about in the beginning, it's about giving them that respect of understanding, how do you do these things? How do you move your hands? What is your comfort level? Because that's all what this is. It's a comfort level to them. Like you were talking about, everybody's raised that certain way, and the people that you are around creates those experiences for you. It says that when someone looks at me like this is what it means. When someone makes that facial expression, that's what that means. When somebody starts doing this with their hands, that's what that means. They all have a meaning in their head of what that really means. And that's why it's so important that you have to be able to identify and connect with them, be present, and start understanding what those things are. Start connecting with them on a different level. Eye contact, huge. You walk in the door and they're staring you down, give them a little bit of a stare back. Give them that respect of saying this is how they communicate. If they're kind of glancing all around, you don't sit there and stare down at them and kind of force them into a corner. You just give them that respect. This is all about respect. I'm going to respect who you are. Let's connect some more. Let's find out if we're friends. And if we're not, let me figure out how I can be your friend.
While you guys are watching this, watch when Chris is talking or when I'm talking. I want you guys to learn a little bit. And it's stretching a muscle, right? This is just something new. It's peripheral vision is your best friend in the world. So as I'm talking, I'm part of a tribe that talks with my hands, right? Chris too, when he's making points, he's doing this, and we do, right? We're just talking. This is how we deliver. This is how we communicate. It's not just something we're trying to do because we feel like doing it. It's just how we communicate. So if you saw Chris and I at a bar bullshitting over beer talking, you're going to watch us doing this type of stuff. We look like we're doing some patty cake stuff the whole time, but we're just communicating. So if you were to enter into our communication world and if you just sat there like this and talked, we're going to think you're wacko. And we're going to be like, stranger danger, weirdo, get out. We don't want you. Go away. Because the coolest people in the world do this, right? When they talk and they walk and they move their arms and they do the things that they do. And it's not right, wrong. It just is what we're doing. So we get along because we're similar. We're a similar tribe. That's the whole issue. This is what it's about, guys. It's the icon. Zooming is so important because you can really control, right, yourself and watch the language structures, all the things. Let's go a little deeper. So we got eye contact, how they're doing these things, facial expressions. You have people that are just walk around with a smile on their face, right? That's just their tribe, is how they actually work. They could be pissed off. You guys all know people they could be so pissed at you, but a big ass smile on their face. Well, that's just how they do it. If you're going to enter their world, put a smile on your face. Now, if you go to a presentation, they're like, resting bitch face nonstop, then that's just how they are. And it's not right or wrong. That's just their tribe. If you go out when their friends are having drinks, you're gonna think they're all pissed at each other because that's just how they stand, right? It's just it. So if you're gonna enter their world, put it on, right? We're gonna talk about neutrality in a second. It's the first step is going into neutral, analyzing the situation, and entering into their world with their eye contact, their facial expressions, their posture, right? They're chilling out, hanging out. If we're doing a Zoom call and I'm leaning on my countertop and I'm just hanging out in a casual mode, you would be better served to kind of casualize yourself, lean in a little bit, and just have a little casual conversation. Now, if I'm sitting there like this, pretty stoic and that, adjust, because that's where I am right now. And that's how I'm communicating. And people like people who are like themselves. So right now I'm a stoic, stood up straight type of straight-laced person. And I like those people. So if the closer you are to that, the faster I'm going to sign a contract with you. The further you are from that, the quicker I'm going to come up with an excuse to ghost on your ass and I'm out. Okay,
People and
simple.
communications, not real estate, people and communications. Their house means absolutely nothing. People and communications in the beginning. This is what it's about. How do we do that? Then moving on to their energy and mood. If you walk in and if you walk in the door and they're all going, hey, what's going on? It's a great day. How's everything been? You've been good this week? You've been good today? That's what you got to do. That's what you have to identify that, and don't go in and just go, I'm good. How are you today? Let's get some energy behind it. Change those things. You got to be willing to put a little bit in. This is, again, it's respect. I respect you. I'm going to show you that I want to give you that level of respect. Let's do those same things. Let's give them that same kind of energy. And words are so incredibly important here, but not just what they're saying, how they're saying it. They say hello, I say hello. They say, come on in. I said, I'm coming on in. The tonality is huge when you can match those tonalities with them. Like I said, back in the back of their head, the brain plasticity in there, they're learning that you are doing those same things and identifying that you are one of them. And they're just adding it into the Rolodex in the back of their head. Oh, yep, let them in. They're good. We're all right. We're safe.
7 seconds, right? This is the scan, guys. They're looking at your eyes, they're looking at your posture, they're looking at how you're standing, and it's a mirror image. And if it matches, you win. If it doesn't, you're out. It's a 7-second listing presentation, guys. 7-second buyer presentation. It's a 7-second recruiting interview. It's a 7-second date. Okay. It just is happening. This is what's going on in that world. We're going to go really deep into VAC in a few. So I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. But this is important, guys. This is not just a listing presentation, not just a buyer, like I mentioned, personal relationships, dating, relation with your spouse, all those things that come together is it. So it's your clients, it's co-brokes. Do you think it's helpful to go into neutral and recognize what modality your co-broke agent is? Won't you like to have a nice transaction? It's a sport, guys. Let me be just like the agent from Turtle Face Real Estate, right? Whatever it is. Let's just talk to them the way that they're talking. We'll have a smoother transaction. The appraiser. You think it might be good to have the appraiser on your side? Hell yes. I hope he drives the same car I do. Check box 1, right? And check his posture, check his tonality, check his energy, his attitude, his mood, his vocabulary. Listen and say, hey, I know you know what you're doing. This might just help you. There's a couple of comps. I'm sure you already have them. You have a wonderful day. While I'm doing this, he likes me, trust me. I'm not going to do anything wrong to him, right? It's simple things that make a sense. The co-broke clients. Do you think when a client brings, another agent brings your client, do you think you should be nice to them too? You think they might want a nice transaction by you just communicating with them? It's everybody. I'm going to go through examples that I wrote up last night. Your MLS descriptions are going to have to change. Your bio is going to have to change. And I've got examples of all of that. The post you're doing on social, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all have to change to cast a wider net. The videos you're doing have to have some conscious thought behind it, because who's watching it? Yes, they are watching it. Everybody's watching it. So let's go a little deeper into the representational systems on this one. And there's 5. Okay, we really talk about 3 because the other 2 aren't as common, but I'm going to touch on them. So you have visual, auditory, visual, obviously sight. Auditories, they representation, they make their decisions and live their life auditorily. This is their primary representational system. There's deeper ones, but this is the primary one. Kinesthetic is touchy-feely. They kind of work from the heart, from the feel, right? Olfactory is people that have smells. They actually are driven by smells. And gustatory, taste, right? Which doesn't happen often, but there are some people with food allergies that kind of define them. They're kind of gustatory type people, right? And the people will talk about smells too, but primarily it's visual, auditory, kinesthetic is how people experience the world. This is just how they do it. Let's go through some examples on that.
Let me explain real quick on a real broad level. If you've ever went into school and you were taking a class and they tried to get you to learn something, the amazing teachers, the excellent teachers all have a similar type of fashion that is a VAK type fashion. It's a tell, show, do, review. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to auditorily tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to show you kinesthetically, show you what's going to happen. And visually going to happen. I'm going to do it with you, kinesthetically go over it with you. And then we're going to review it, all 3 of them combined, and pair it together. So that's how important learning is, communication is, and you have to be able to identify that some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic with the way they understand things, and you have to be able to communicate best in that manner to them, paying attention to the way that they do things, paying attention to the way they talk, the way they move, the way they feel, the way they act, their energy levels. All those are going to give you hints, whether they're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. We all use all of them in everyday life, But just like we have two hands, but we're primarily right-handed or left-handed most of the time, you usually go towards that hand that's your primary. Everybody usually has a primary V, A, or K that they go to that makes them feel comfortable, that they learn in, that makes them grow faster, that gives them the best experience. There's usually a primary. And if you can identify that, that's going to be your key.
And very good. The simplification of this one is, this is how they take in information. This is just how they process information. And this is how critical this is, because if Chris walks into my open house and I can figure out that he's a visual person, he's only understands visual representations of things, right? So I have to paint a picture, if you will, with my words and show him things so he can see this home. Okay. And if I can show it this and he sees it, he's going to probably like it and he might buy it. Okay. The problem is, most time agents, we just don't even think about, is the guy walking in my open house visual representation, auditory, I mean, it's just so far fetched. So not with us, guys. This is an elevated tribe. So let's keep with me. This is how they take in information. So if you happen to be an auditory person, like, hey, come on in, I can't wait to tell you about this house. When you talk to the neighbors, you're gonna, yeah, it's a really cool place. So listen to the words. Do you hear the birds? It's so peaceful and quiet. And you're painting it in such a great way. I'm very visual, so I even use those words all the time. But you're talking in an auditory fashion to a visual person that's speaking Russian to the French guy. And that's I really want to drive that home, because you're totally miss the opportunity to connect, totally miss the opportunity to sell and make them feel comfortable, because they're going to be like, what language is this guy speaking? I don't like this house. Out. And I'm not joking, guys. This is how simple it is. So they take their information in with their eyes, their ears, right? Their hands, right? Their bodies, their emotions. Everybody does it differently, and it's your primary representational system. And I'm going to show you how we're going to figure it out, what it is. There's a couple little tricks here. So visual people tend to speak very fast. Okay, they move their hands a lot, right? That's just kind of what they're doing. And on their head and their shoulders, they're moving, they're sitting upright all the time. They kind of, a lot of times they give importance to their visual appearance, right? These are the ones that they really take the time. They do their hair, they dress well, they put their makeup on, they do the things they want visually to be appealing, visually.
They say that a picture is worth what? What's the phrase? A picture is worth 1,000 words, which is why they talk so fast to try and get that picture into your head, because they know they can't put the picture out there for you or show you that picture. So they're trying to get that picture across to you using their words. And then they're going to start telling you about the other things, pointing out, look at that, see this, moving their hands around, because they're trying to get that to you. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Remember that. That's why they talk so fast to try and get it across to you.
And they're using their hands like this because they're actually trying to paint a picture for you. Look at this. Can you imagine this? We can put this wall here. We can take that wall out. And this is where we put our couch. Can you imagine the TV set right here? Look out back. There's the outdoor kitchen. Oh my God, I can see the kids. They're painting pictures. Visual. Boom. In your head. Pay attention. Okay? And pay attention. Especially on Zoom, guys. It's like fish in a barrel. Just got to take a deep breath and pay attention. Auditory people, they tend to breathe from the middle of their chest. And if you haven't watched people's breathing patterns, Chris, maybe we do a whole class on that one day. It's pretty interesting.
It's really
the breathing patterns from the middle of their chest, they get easily distracted by noise. What was that? Right? They're in an auditory fashion. That's what happens there. Right? They're medium, the fast talkers, they're just a little slower because they want to make sure that you hear them. Okay. And the gestures, when they speak, it's normally at the chest level. Right? This is just little clues of how people are actually communicating when they're in auditory mode. Right? So if they walk in and say, tell me a little bit about this neighborhood, I want to hear, how are the neighbors? I want to talk to me. Tell me more. What can you tell me? Tell me some more. Right? Yeah, that's what you're going to notice.
They try and tone down the other sides, like the hand movements as much and talking so fast. They tone those down a little bit because the hearing is important. Just, you ever notice whenever you're trying to park the car or do something else, you turn the radio down so you can focus a little more? That's the auditory side of you trying to connect. But some people are so auditory in everything they do that they can't have those distractions. So that's why they are toning those things down themselves. They're toning the hand gestures down. They're slowing down their pace. They're not talking overly loud, but they're talking at a nice, calm manner, emphasizing words. They're doing all of those things so you can hear them better, because that's how they perceive and that's how they learn. That's how they understand.
That's right. So it's like the head, right? The visual people speak with their hands up here, auditory, eyes, ears, and then we'll go to the kinesthetic people. They talk a little more slowly, right? They have lower breathing. It comes from the diaphragm, the low part of their belly, right? They stand close to who they're talking with. Why? Because they want to get connected and feel close, right? and they have smoother and slower gestures and lower gestures. So as they're talking, their hands might move, but they're lower when they're talking. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, okay? This is the way you could actually size people up peripheral vision before you even engage in a conversation. The skill is going into neutral, right? That's a huge, huge part of this thing.
Yep.
The way I look at this, couple of examples I wrote, the way I look at this is that it's still rather unclear, okay? You've got a visual person. I really don't feel comfortable with this, Chris. Kinesthetic. This doesn't really sound right to me, right? Pay attention, because they're going to say these things, guys. And I want on your lead follow-up systems, when I'm making notes, when I talk to people and I'm on an interview or I'm doing anything, you're going to see on my notes VAKDISC, and I will circle what's going on in their world, because when I glance down, it's a visual reminder of me. I've got a kinesthetic C. Oh man, that's going to be a stretch, right? For me to really slow my ass down and throw some stats and data in there. I might not even want to do the appointment, right? But I can, because I understand people and know how to actually deal with them. And so can you. And guys, let me ask you a question. When you're on a listing presentation, do you think your seller should know that you know this stuff? Do you think this makes a difference? Do you think it makes a difference when there's an open house and you know how to connect with people? Do you think that the sellers might be impressed that you actually taken the time to further your career, advance your educational knowledge, to talk about how you really pride yourself on people and communications, and recognizing their personality styles by the car they're driving, what they're wearing, how they're looking at you, how they're shaking their hands, how they're moving their arms, at what level they're moving their hands, up, down, slow, fast, left, right? This makes the difference, right? These are the things you talk about that make sure no objections come up. This puts you in a whole different class, a whole different caliber of person, guys, is what you are. And that's what you deserve to be, because we are, I use the word again, an elevated tribe, right? Because we spend a hell of a lot of time making ourselves better, right? And making sure that we practice and we give, right? The best that we can give to everybody we're associated with. And damn it, we're worth it. We're worth our money. We're worth our value. And they're lucky to have you working for them. And I want you to pay attention to this.
Next level. That's what this is, your next level. If you haven't given a lot of study time and effort into this, this is next level stuff. This could literally turn your business around, take you to the next level, get you that bump that you need to get to whatever the dreams that you're looking at are, just by focusing on these simple things. Because not only is it going to make your business better, it's going to help you communicate with your family better, with your friends better, with anybody that's trying to sell you better. You're going to be able to have everything at another level of communication, where everything just takes that next step up for you. That's why it's so important. This is everyday life. This is people and communications, not real estate. So it can elevate every side of your life. But in our business, absolutely imperative if you want to take it to that next level.
You're becoming a Jedi, right? This is just really what you're doing. You're getting levels of skills that most people don't have, which is kind of cool on that one. Now, here's the fun part too. Can you see how you can use this for your benefit also? Let's say I don't want to continue talking with you. Do you think I can unravel this scenario? And if knowing that you're visual and you're a high D, I'm going to switch into a kinesthetic high I mode, and I'm going to repel the shit out of you, and you're gone, right? So you could use this for any way you want to make it. You could cut off conversations, you can cut off communications, you can get away from somebody, you could do all what you want to do by just understanding how to work your communication styles. It's fun. It's a sport, guys. It's a sport.
That's true.
That I want you guys to pay attention to and talk about next level stuff. Eyes. Okay, the eyes give away VAK. It's easier to identify when people aren't really moving their hands or anything like that. So they make movements with their eyes as they go inside themselves, and because all the information is stored somewhere in their side of their brain, and they tell you where it is by watching their eyes, because the eyes are like the little mouse going up on the computer. You got to follow it and it goes to where it wants to go. So they store their information in a way that it's either visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. So let's go through what happens here. All right, so this is fascinating, guys. Watch this. So the left side of your brain is where you have made up shit, right? Constructed. Left is constructed, right is remembered. Right remembered, left is made up, okay? Just the way it is. So when you're talking with me, you ask me a question, if my eyes go up and to the right, what am I doing? Am I remembering or am I making shit up? Right is remembered, right remembered, right remembered. So what did you do last night? Oh God, let me think about what I did last night. Okay. What did you do last night? Let me come up with some bullshit about what I did last night. Give me a second. Let me paint myself a picture that I can lie to you about and tell you. Hang on 1 second. So if I go up to my left, I'm constructing things, I'm making things up. If I go to my right, I am remembering. Okay, so up is visual, right? Because eyes are higher than ears, and then the feelings are low. So up and right is I'm remembering something visual. Up and to the side, I'm remembering something auditory. Up and down, or down and right, is kinesthetic. I'm having an internal dialogue with myself. They're talking to themselves. They're telling themselves something. They're selling themselves in an internal dialogue. So when you're watching people, they're going to tell you what's going on inside of them by you just paying attention. Now, once again, do you think I can be even remotely concerned about what my next line is? Can I say, tell me again, where are you moving to? Well, right, I can't say that. I have to know my scripts, guys. When do you plan on moving? Where'd you move from? I don't think so. When again, where'd you connect? What would that be? Right, I got to know those lines. I have to know the listing presentation. Next time we have to take 5 to 20 minutes. Maybe I'll say you can save it with that 3 more goes from them on them 2 3. You got to be able to have this stuff down so you can pay attention and say, somebody's making shit up, right? Because they just went up to the left and over to there. So I've got an auditory creative who's making stuff up. Let me figure out how. Hey, talk to me a little bit more about that. Tell me more about what you're talking about. Notice the words. Talk with me. Tell me more, because I saw your eyes go that way. So I know we're going deep, but it's not hard. Right, remembered, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. So up and down, left. Yep.
The screen is meant like that, so you see it and understand it. Visually remembering things to the right, that's not supposed to be the actual person, because it's to the person's right. If I go up to my right, that's visual. If I go down to my right, that's kinesthetic, me. So it's mirrored for you. When you're looking at them, if that person goes up and to the right. So it's done like that. It can't, I understand where you got confused with that with the chats that are online, but just think the person right, remember, they look to their right. The person that you're looking at, their right is going to be remembering, not your right, their right.
Correct. So right, remembered, just remember, right, remembered, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Not hard. Make a little chart for yourself, and then your lead follow-up forms. In fact, Chris, maybe let's come up with a new lead follow-up form. That would be kind of cool. So they VAK, DISC, and as an up, down. I mean, God, imagine this. Imagine being able to go to a presentation and say, let me tell you how I do my follow-up. I recognize DISC, VAK, are they telling the visual auditor? I do everything on Zoom the best I can, because I can actually have my script with me, right? And I can actually pay attention and really look closely at you. That's powerful things. All right, so some modalities, just to touch on this for a second. These are the little things, going deeper, but a lot of you are ready for this. Smells can be pleasant or offensive, strong or light. Taste can be sweet or bitter, or strong or mild. Okay, now the finer distinctions there, what we talked about before is modalities. These are submodalities, and it just tells you a little bit deeper. So people are like themselves. So if I say, man, that smell is really offensive, just saying, hey, what is that smell? I'm already connecting with you. If I go deeper to the submodalities, so that is a little offensive, right? Then you go in a little bit deeper into the submodalities, it builds the connection a lot stronger there. So that's,
when you think of the word modality, think of recipe. This is somebody's recipe to make them feel a certain way or connect a certain way. So the modalities here are going to be the ingredients. The submodalities are going to be how much of those ingredients, and then even further is going to be how you treat those ingredients while you're preparing. So there's recipe is a great way to identify modalities in somebody. This is the recipe I need to inject or inflect into this conversation or into this communication, so I can get them to communicate with me, to understand me, to like me, or vice versa. It's the recipe to communicate.
That's right, to build the trust. It's the recipe for trust. All right, so this is what it's about. This is where it comes to play right here. The law of neutrality. So if every transaction is worth $130,000 to you, which we established yesterday, it is, then let's pay attention to every client. I don't care if it's a first-time home buyer of a mobile home, okay? They're worth $130,000 to you guys. So it's not the check, it is the future business, it is the connection of that tribe, right? So get unattached to a transaction, guys. It's never about a transaction. It's about the relationship and the connection to that person, because you never know when their uncle hits the lottery and buys a $12 million beach house from you, right? So remember that. That's a huge, important part of this business too. So we have to shift into neutral. This is the #1 skill that makes the difference between those who are successful and happy and those who haven't figured it out yet, right? It's being able to shift into neutral, which means if you put your car in a neutral, You're not going anywhere, right? You're not going forward, you're not going reverse, you're sitting there. Neutral is sitting there in neutral and observing, right? Even from a distance, watching what's going on. Right now, let's go tactical for a second. Emails, God, I love them. Text messages, love them. Why? Talk about giving me just an unfair advantage. Let me dissect your email for a moment, and you're going to tell me so much about yourself. If it's short, abbreviated, to the point, thank you, nice high D, right? If it's flowery, a bunch of words, and you can't, you could have said this thing in 3 sentences, but you made it 14 paragraphs, high I, right? And then you're telling me visual words, auditory, kinesthetic, right? The words that they're using, the sub choice, the vocabulary, are they throwing emojis in? Are they not emoji people? Everything they're telling you, here I am, blah, right? So you get to say, wow, this is cool. Let me think for a second and let me respond back in a way that they're going to say, oh, where have you been all my life? You're just like me. And they want to give you that hug. Okay. Pay attention. Go into neutral. Don't respond yet. Think, look, react. Okay. That's the beautiful thing about that. So that's what the emails and the text message, they're giving you their signals with their car that they're driving, guys. Right. You can tell so much about somebody by looking at the car that they're driving, the color, the style, how they're dressing. What are they looking like? What are they wearing? Like, get into their Facebook account. Most people have them public, so they don't care, right? Go Google them. Check out their Facebook profile. You're going to know so much about what they're wearing, what they're doing, who they're hanging out with, what they're doing, what are their interests. They will scroll down the About Me section, and you're going to see their favorite bands. You're going to see their favorite shows, their books that they're using, the places that they check into. I mean, come on. It's just like an open book of everything in the planet you could possibly want to know about them. Before I go in a listing presentation, there's nothing I don't know. I'm Googling the hell out of them. I'm LinkedIn, I'm Facebook, Instagram. What's that?
Yeah, not to jump subjects, but that's exactly why our listing process is done the way that it is, spread out over a period of time, to give you an opportunity to gather as much information in this neutral stage as you possibly can. So when you sit down in that living room, game on. This is now hand-to-hand combat. I'm going to earn your trust and you're going to list with me. We are going to connect. You have everything you need to go into battle, per se, to earn their respect. So that's why that process is set up like this, so we can go through, go into neutral, shut everything down. When your brain starts telling you, well, they did this because of this, and I can't believe that, and you start getting all that, no, shut it off and just start observing. Let's pull it all in. Let's fill up the bucket with as much as we possibly can, and then dissect it and say, they're this, they're this, they're this. If I was this, how would I communicate? If I was that, how would I communicate? If I did that, what should I do with that? And I think those lead forms would be awesome to be able to pick those things out. When you identify these are things you can do. When you identify this, these are things you could do. That would be awesome.
See, and if you don't do these things, you're going to go into battle. You're going to go try to win this presentation. When you do these things, you're just strutting in arm in arm as their friend, right? No one's going to battle themselves, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention to who they are and walk in and be like them. Give them the highest level of respect of appreciating them as a person and allowing them to communicate the way that they are and communicate with them. Make it easy, guys. Take the friction out of this business. Come on, right? Give them a great experience. Let them sign a contract. Give you an amazing testimonial and tell all their friends about you. That's all we're talking about. Stop making it difficult. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't. So do it. Figure it out. Go on to Remind. Find somebody's a high sell score. Go stalk the crap out of them, and then call them with the same modalities you think that they actually are operating in, and go into neutral and listen to them. It's fun. Right? This goes back to scripts, right? Absolutely needed. And we'll get into scripts a lot more when we get into scripts, but I just wanted to hit on these things because you got to get the words out of the way and repeating, and it's really attracting and repelling. So let's go a little deeper. The science, more science of connecting. People don't know who you are yet. So let's talk about your bio for a second. Your bio is your Amazon review, right? People are going to read about you. I was talking to an agent the other day, got a great listing, and I asked, how did you get it? They called in, right? Because they went to the office. They knew they wanted to buy in this area. They searched in the area. They saw some reviews. They went onto the website. They read several agents' bios. They picked her because they liked her. They trusted her. They felt comfortable with her. They connected with her. She got the phone call. She got the business. Game over. Okay. It's not hard, but let's talk about this.
It happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why wouldn't it? Because guys, it's the largest financial transaction. It's a pretty intimate relationship. Would you imagine? I mean, you're getting into the nitty gritty details of their home, their life, and their family, right? And their money, right? It doesn't get a lot more intimate than that, right? They have to feel something. Why would they let somebody in they don't really like and trust? They won't. If they do it, they're going to do it begrudgingly, and you're going to have a terrible, terrible experience with that client. So let's give them a good one.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. I mean, there's people out there who don't let people into their house. Their house is their sanctuary. Nobody comes to their house. Their friends don't come over. They have nobody in. Salespeople don't get past the first little step. And you are walking into that house and they're going to be uncomfortable. And you have to find a way to get them to be the most comfortable. And they already started with your bio. So they already feel a little more comfortable with you, which is why you're walking in the door in the first place. That happens so much more than you would think. I get calls all the time that say that. A lot of our agents get calls all the time that say that exact same thing. I read your bio. I see you're from here. I see you enjoy this. And we used to live there. We used to do this. Your kids are the same age. Whatever that is, you hit them already, which gave you that open door to get into the living room. That's one of the first steps. And now you give them that respect of connecting with them in every other way when you walk in, so they feel even more comfortable with that. It just lets all of the walls down and it makes it such an easy process.
And you're right. And tell everything about you, because we need to find 3 commonalities, guys. So spit it out there. I like to fish. I like to golf. I like to play with the kids. We do softball. I do yoga. I walk on the beach. I love sunsets. I like pina coladas. Something. Okay. And then who's reading it? I don't know. I don't care. You better hit DISC and you better hit VAK, because you don't know. You want to be able to, whoever reads this needs to say, I like that person. Okay. And if you're just doing it in your mode, you're only going to connect people that happen to be in that mode. So I just wrote little samples, because your number 1 assignment tonight is going to be rewrite your bio, right? And look, here's the DISC. I just wrote this down as examples. I like to get things done. Okay. I also like to have a good time, right? I'm a stickler for details, dotting my I's, crossing my T's. And most important, I love building long-lasting relationships, right? There's my D, I, S, and C. Wiggle it in your own words, but put it in there, guys, because the S who reads that is going to say, oh, they like long-lasting relationships. The C is saying, dotted I's and crosses T's. It's exactly what I wanted. Having a good time? Hell yeah. We're going to have drinks in the car when we're looking at houses, right? And then the other person gets stuff done. Good. That's the type of person I want. I don't want to waste time. Got it, guys? Throw it out there, because you don't know who's reading and you want to have them all say yes. VAK. Hey, I'm going to show you around and let's see what looks exciting to you. This is in your bio, guys. I can't wait to see you. I'll show you around. Let's see what looks exciting to you. And I'm definitely going to listen, and I'll tell you everything you want to hear. Okay. And while I get a good feel for what's most important to you and your family, I want to make sure you're comfortable that you make the right decision. Got it? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, D, I, S, C. If I read your bio right now, and you read your bio right now, it's okay, but it's not okay going forward, right? It's not your next level bio. Your current bio is, hey, this is me. Hey, look, check out me. This is me, 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 me. This is what I do. This is me, 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 right? And that's going to work for a sliver of the population that happens to be like you. I don't want you to just deal with just a sliver of the population that's just like you. I want you to deal with the whole population and be able to pick those and choose those who you want to work with, right? And attract and repel. Now, this is just to get the phone call. This is to get the appointment. And then you can decide if you want to work with this person or not, or refer them out. That's a powerful way to have your business. You guys agree with that? Get to that next level on that. So there's your bio. Who's looking at your house? Who's on Zillow? Who's on Realtor.com? Who's reading your profile in your testimonials? Property description, guys. This is the dating profile for your listing. You're trying to find that match, right? That's what you're doing. But who's reading it? Is it a D? Is it an I? Is it an S? Is it a C? Is it a V? Is it an A? Is it a K? The answer is yes, right? And do you think your seller might appreciate the fact that you know this and you do something about it? So here's a good example of a disc home dating profile. This home's impeccable, as you deserve and expect the best. Who's that for? The D, right? Always wants the best, and they deserve it, and damn well they expect it. Right, that has really fun, entertaining areas to gather with friends and loved ones. Who's going to like that?
Your eyes.
It's been thoroughly and routinely maintained perfectly. Who's going to appreciate that?
That's your C and your, it's a combination too. It's going to be your S and your C, a little bit both. The S,
Yep.
You'll actually see mostly because it's maintained, it's perfect, it's going to be here and there, everything's in order. And then your last one, you provide warmth and comfort of home. That's your S. That's, oh, I can sit down and relax, and I can invite people over, and it'll be just it's my place, my comfort place.
Warmth, warmth. It's so warm. I just feel so warm, right? Guys, come on. It's not hard. Give people what they want. And this is everybody. Now, the fun part is when they call you and you have this skill set, now you're going to really pay attention to when they're calling you and what they're saying to you and what representational system are they in? Are they Ds, Is, SCs? And you're going to actually have fun selling with them, right? With them. Notice not to them, with them alongside of them. So that's what's going to happen. Then your VAK, you need to be talking about that in your house too. Once you look at this house, you will clearly see a fun, happy, loved home waiting for you. It's as if you're telling yourself, this is it. And the more time we spend talking about it, when you meet the cool neighbors, it's going to become more and more certain that this feels like home. Okay. I don't care if you use these words or not, guys. This is not say copy paste. This is the intent is to make you think and say, okay, let me read the description of every listing I have right now. And am I touching VAK? All of them. Am I touching DISC? All of them. And if you're not doing our clients a good service. You're just not. You can do better and you can get to a next level. And these are the things you need to be talking about on your listing presentations, guys. This will make the difference from them not saying, well, Joe Bob will do it for 4%. Well, they go to freaking Joe Bob because he doesn't know shit. Ask him about single agency. Ask him about DASC, VAK, some modalities, how he's going to interview and interrogate the buyers to actually know what's going on. How's he going to pre-qualify your people? Wait till you get into contract negotiations tomorrow with Craig and Kat, right? This is the part. Stand up for your value and show them that you're different and you're better and you're at a different level, guys. This is business. This is sales. This is what we do, right? Come on. You have extra features and benefits. You should charge more, right? You go buy the AMG package double turbo V12 with the extra moonroofs, LED lights and the cup holders and extras, sick, badass stereo system. You don't get it for the base model, guys. You pay more for good things. You're great, right? Stand up for your value, sell your value, and tell people what they're getting when they get you. And when they get us as a group. Guys, they're not just hiring you, they're hiring us. You have 450 badass ninja warriors that are out there talking to their clients in the same way. It's a great upsell, guys. And you need to be really paying attention to what you're actually bringing in there, right? It's just fun. God, I get passionate about it because, guys, it's so simple.
It's a good way to not only respect yourself, to respect the client, to respect your brand, to respect the other agents. Because doesn't it mean something to you when you go out and you give that kind of amazing experience to somebody and they're talking to somebody else on the street who says, yeah, I hired that Beggins. Beggins, oh, they're amazing. They're awesome. And next thing you know, the reputation grows too, which helps your business. So it's all inclusive. It's every part of your business that grows, the brand, the company, you, your tribe, your sphere, your past clients. Everybody benefits when you can take all of these tools and implement them and make them a part of your business. Everybody benefits, and it just makes everybody's life that much better, that much easier. And like you said, you're selling with them, not to them at that point, and it just makes the whole process just come together.
They feel comfortable, guys, because you can't sell anybody a house. They're going to like it or they're not. You just have to be able to nudge them and say, good idea. I think this is a good thing for you to do. That's really what we do. And as long as they trust you, you're going to make sure you're going to look after them, of course, but that's really what we do. So let's play the last few minutes, Chris. I want to have some fun with it and do kind of a little role play, right? And let's talk as if I just met you. You just called in on a property, right? Sure. And but forget scripts. I just want to go modalities for a second here. So let's go there. So my phone rings. Ring, ring, ring.
Are you the agent?
Yeah, I'll be the agent. Hello. Hi, this is Jeff.
Hi, I was calling about a property over in the area.
Oh, you calling about a property? Good. You got the right person. I've got amazing knowledge in the whole area here. Who am I speaking with?
My name's Chris. My name is Chris Reed. I'm actually I'm going to be looking to move into the St. Pete area, and I just wanted to get an idea of what the properties are selling for, and I'm really looking for a great agent that can kind of help me out. I want to do some interviewing.
Great. All right. So Mr. Chris Reed, I'm very glad that you reached out to me, and so let me get this straight. So just so I understand, so St. Pete, something that you're interested in moving in, you just want to get an idea for the area and kind of looking around and see if you can find a great agent, and then you want to do some interviewing, right?
Yeah, and I really don't know what the next step is going to be, and I'm just really looking to kind of get some help here. What can you help me
Okay,
out?
great.
Can
Well,
you
let's
tell me?
talk about, sure. Yeah, let's talk about what the next step are, and you're looking to see what the next steps are. Let me show you. What's most important to you when you're looking around? What are you looking for in St. Pete? Let me ask you a question. Where are you from right now? Where do you live?
I live up in Pennsylvania, so I'm up in the middle of the woods.
Okay, up in the middle of the woods, up in Pennsylvania. Why St. Pete? What brings you down this way? Is it definitely St. Pete? Is it the Tampa Bay area? How much you know about the area? What's going on?
Well,
Paint me a picture.
I have some family that lived outside of the Tampa Bay area and some other family that lived in Seminole area. So I'm looking to get out of the Northeast. I'm looking to get out of the cold. I'm really looking for something that's a little more laid back and a little more easygoing. And I love the warm weather, the sunsets and the beaches. And I think it's time for a change for me.
Man, I'll tell you what, you're looking in the right spot. I'll tell you what, getting out of that woods and you really want to find kind of a laid back lifestyle. Wait till you see the sunsets and just no matter where you live here, whether it's Seminole where your other family lived or somewhere outside the Tampa Bay, just feeling and smelling and just looking at the sunset. The lifestyle is amazing. So what's important to you in the next home?
I need some room for my kids and my family. So I've got two kids and a dog, so I need a little bit of room for them. Uh, we
Cool.
want, we want to be close to some of our other families, so about 45 minutes to an hour away from the ones that live in the area.
Is
Um,
that Seminole?
One of them's in Seminole, the other's just north in the Spring Hill area. So about
Seminole and Spring Hill.
being an hour away from them. We'd really like to be close to the beach, and I work from home, so the home really has to be. It's really got to be special. It's really got to be something that gives us the space for work, for family. It's got to be able to include all of those things for us. That's very important to our family.
All right, space sounds like it's really important. You have room for, how old are the kids, Chris?
2 and 6.
2 and 6. Okay, how much fun is that? That's cool. And you have said you have a dog, one dog, two dog?
One dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a rescue dog, so
Ah,
my family's always rescued dogs and give them a good home. So those are the things that it's special, and it means something to us to be able to provide a good house, a good home for our family, for the dogs, for everybody, and then for work.
that it's a special type of person, I think, that does the rescues. It really, I think there's good karma coming your way. So we'll find you a great house. So you get the room for the kids, the room for the dog, giving you the whole space. It sounds like it's important. So you work from home. What kind of business are you in, Chris?
So I'm in IT.
Oh, great. Okay. That's a very talented craft these days and a lot of work there. So you have IT that you're working in right now. So you said close to the beach. Everyone's got a different definition of that. What is close? So we got family in Seminole, some in Spring Hill. Want to be close to the beach and you work from home. You want a lot of room for the kids and the dogs. A couple questions for you. What does room for kids and a dog mean to you? Right?
Sure.
Like, what is that? How much space and what does space define it to me?
So I would say 2 bedroom. I'm sorry, 3 bedrooms. One for us, one for each kid, a guest room, and then two separate office spaces. That's going to be really important. That would make a lot of sense for us. If it has a bonus or extra room for the kids that they could have as a separate living room, that would be good. As far as the beach, we'd really like to be. I just want to be able to go to the beach, and if it starts raining, it's only a short drive home, and I didn't waste my whole day packing up, drugging everything out to the beach, like slopping everything over my shoulders, taking the time to go out there, and then having to drive home through traffic. I mean, that's the most stressful thing whenever we get down there.
Oh my God, yeah. You don't need that stress. Just imagine sloughing everything out there. Yeah, rain, you don't want to do that. So what's close to you? Because I know everyone's kind of used to different things. So when you say close to the beach, is that a 10-minute drive, a 30-minute drive, 45-minute drive,
Uh,
20? What's
I'd say
the deal?
15 to 25 minutes would probably be good.
15, 25. Okay, good deal. But you guys see what are we doing here? What am I doing?
I think it's
Let's
important.
dissect that.
It's important that you note that the repeating and affirm, we didn't touch on that a lot. We barely touched on that, but that is absolutely key. I know what he's doing, and I'm sitting over here going, man, this guy's making me feel comfortable. It's like it just makes it easier. I loosen up so much more as he repeats and affirms the words that I said to him, and it made me feel that much better about what I could tell him next. It made me feel that much more comfortable that he was going to understand, he was going to listen, And he knew what it meant to me when I said those words, just by doing that simple thing of repeating and affirming what I said. That right there earns so much trust. And when you do it in a tone, there's a way that I delivered it. When you deliver it back the same way, it makes it even more imperative, or it makes it even more impactful to me.
And the little things, it's repeating and approving, because people like himself. His name was Chris Reed, right? So I said, all right, great to meet you, Chris, Mr. Chris Reed. Okay. The same damn thing he said. All I did was do it. Also, these are my notes from our conversation. Okay. If you're not doing that, you're not doing a good job. I've got visual, I've got look, I got feel, I got space, I got room, I got dog, I got 2 kids, I got 2, I got 6, I got beach, I got 45-minute, right? I have this. This is me paying the best amount, highest level of respect I can to my potential client, because I can't pay attention to everything you said. He was rapid firing stuff at me, guys. He gave me so much information. I didn't even get to write it all down, but I had enough, right? I could replay that whole conversation with the way he was doing it. And if you notice, his tonality changed too. He was slow sometimes, and he'd get excited about other things, and he'd slow back up, get excited, and then I'd slow back down, get excited, and I'd use his word choices back, right? This is what we're doing. Now, I may not be the only agent he's come in contact with, but I'm probably the one he's going to want to stay in contact with. Okay. And that's my ultimate job, is to have that connection, to have that just feel comfortable that we're ready to go. Okay. So that we hit our time flies when we're having fun. I hope you guys got a lot out of this, and we just, guys, use it, reach out with any questions, and thank you for your time, guys. It's an honor to be able to share all this stuff with you guys. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the next sessions.
Are you going to take care of moving over the next presenters to host?
Puma is doing that right now. I'm taking care of that tomorrow because he's not going to be.
All right, awesome. Take care of it.
Thank you, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
I know you.
We've heard of each other. So my name is Ashley Keena, and I'm the relocation director here at Century 21 Beggins. And my partner.
I'm Jay Diener, and I am in South Tampa. I'm the sales manager there, and I also sell, and I'm also the manager there.
Awesome. So I was going to go ahead and share my screen, I believe.
Yes.
And Joe and I are going to go through a few things and explain what we do and how we can help you make a lot of money.
I like money.
You do?
I do.
Hold on 1 second. You know, this computer thing's new.
We're here
Everybody doing well? You doing well, Joe?
We're here to talk about the experience. You know, the amazing part of this is the fact that we are dealing in the largest transaction that these people will have in their lifetime. So, and we're dealing with it. And, you know, it's amazing. And it's rewarding to help people find what they need in their home. And, you know, it's amazing. We get to meet new friends and make new friends. And I have many clients that have become very good friends. So
Meet new friends and keep them. It's the whole name of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now it's Century 21 Beggins relocation. We want to kind of explain that to you. Okay. So basically we work with different programs. Okay. When you hear me say affinity or corporate clients, there's little things to that. And I just want you all to know that you can work those clients if that happens. And we'll get into that in a little bit as well. We work with people, even though relocation sounds like you have to move across the country, we work with people that are moving across the street, country, and the world. So please utilize these programs to your benefit. Big deal here, guys. All referrals are going to be placed through the relocation department. Okay. So you do not have to go out and, oh, that's what I meant to do. You do not have to go out and research Bob and Jane from Virginia and hope that their profile is up to date and true and that they're full-time agents at the whole 9 yards. So, and we'll get into that as well in a moment. And then also, we don't need to get into the increase on all that stuff. Okay. What is an outgoing referral, Joe?
An outgoing referral is when I have someone here in Tampa who wants to move to South Carolina. And it's very easy. I go on and click the referral and send it over to Ashley and said, these dear friends of mine are moving to South Carolina. And the network has vetted these agents. And so Ashley then gets a hold of the director from the other area, and we set up somebody.
No, it's awesome. And now we have a new app, and I'm going to actually share that with everybody at the end of this presentation, Joe. So let's remind me to do that so that everybody can download it now. It's awesome. So what you do is, I've got somebody moving to San Diego. I am going to say, you're going to put the client information in, check out the agents, look at their bios, see if you need somebody that speaks Spanish or the number of years that they have been in, and you click that person and you direct contact to them, and it's awesome. So that way, you're not, maybe God forbid I'm at a grocery store with my mask on and on a Sunday afternoon and you needed it immediately, you can reach that agent immediately. So it's not waiting on me. It's not waiting on the other relocation department, and it goes directly to them. And we've had some really good success. It's just going to get better and better, guys. So I'm going to show you how to, after Joe talks, I'm going to show you at the very end, and we're all going to download the app together. It's going to be awesome and easy. Okay. So yeah. So I do want to make sure we do have these cute little things that is available to you, as well as we also have scripting. So all it's really going to take is you to copy and paste to remind your friends and family that you can help them anywhere. Right. And even if somebody is not in Florida, maybe your aunt from Virginia is moving to California, you can help them on both sides. If we're not talking about this, you guys are leaving money on the table for sure. You've earned this real estate license, and let's use it.
I was going to say, Ashley, the one reason we do this is we're making money on that outgoing referral. That agent is very nice for us. They're doing all the work and they're sending us a referral fee back.
It's the most money you're going to make per minute ever.
Yeah.
Right? We're making more money. It takes like just a couple minutes to get the information and put them in a phone or the link that we provide. I do want to say that it is not always a Century 21 broker. Okay. So Joe understands that when you send something to me, we have this awesome network of people. And even if there's a Century 21 there, it's not always necessarily, they're not always necessarily in my network, but we have some really cool partners. Okay. I guess.
Maybe. There we go.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, we'll talk about how we get them, right? So we already kind of discussed talking about, how you have the conversation about it, but don't forget church groups, all your spouse's contacts, children activities, definitely your SOI. Make sure right now, as you're getting all your information set up, tell them that you can help them anywhere, especially if you're a new agent coming in to the business for the first time, or an agent that just moved from another state. Joe, how many times do we have somebody that moved from another state and they say, oh, I'm having to start from scratch? Well, you're not really. You can still use that SOI to get those outgoing referrals. And let me tell you guys, the best part about these companies that we work with is they are vetted. They are not just an XYZ company, okay? So it is, they're top trained agents, extra background check. We've got a guarantee that we're gonna get paid. So if we give it to them and they close on something, we are guaranteed to get paid. So, so make sure you're always remembering to do that when you're talking to people, FSBOs, expireds, when you're making those phone calls, make sure you're offering a service to them as well. Because, Joe, think about it. If you're a FSBO, do you want to pay any money for me to list your house?
No.
But what if I went up to you and offered you a free service for the buy side in Texas, because that's where you're moving? Would you talk to me a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. And maybe soften up the relationship where I'm really trying to help him and not really trying to sell his house here.
Yes, absolutely. Perfect. We didn't plan that. Just kidding.
No,
We
actually,
haven't planned anything.
the other thing I wanted to, sometimes there's interesting things. I had a client here, I sold a house and they're moving to Alaska and they weren't selling their home here, but they were going to buy a house in Alaska. So I got the outgoing referral for the house in Alaska, got the referral for the rental here through Rent Solutions, and now they decided they're going to sell the house here. So I've got the listing here. So, helping people along the way, they always come back to you.
Absolutely. And I definitely suggest, like I said, the social media, we've got the stuff already pre-done for you. So definitely use it. Okay. Talking about the cash flow of it really quickly, Joe. So when, and I put this in the document so you can see it.
Thank you.
Basically, you get 21% as opposed to a regular 25%. Joe, why would you do that?
More money.
More money. Here's the thing, guys. These are so important to us to support our network partners as well, because they support us too. It's a back and forth thing. So Craig actually does not even take a cut out of the 21%. So you actually make more money. Okay.
It makes the network stronger if you're doing an outgoing referral through Cartus. It's making them stronger so you can have stronger relationships in other cities. So it supports the network.
Totally. And what's really cool about it is, think about it. We have a 69% conversion rate as opposed to giving it to a Bob at an XYZ company. I hope there's not an XYZ company. I use that all the time. And I'm like bashing them. But
where would you start trying to find somebody in let's just say Atlanta? I don't know anybody in Atlanta. So
I do.
Well, yeah, but you do, and the referral network has already vetted out agents in Atlanta that can help me. And the city is big, so Atlanta, you might have somebody that is really more specific to one area versus another, and they're going to know that. I'm not going to know that.
Absolutely, seriously. And I'm actually most of the time personal friends with these people that we use, so I can say, hey, we just have that personal connection, because I'm even dealing with something right now where it's all going to be worked out because of the personal connection. Now, I even talked to one agent the other day that had spent like 4 hours vetting all these people, and that's, you've got so many better things to do. Just use my link or that app and get the referral to me, and I will always do the best thing in your clients and your best interest. Okay. So if you're walking around away from your closing table, think about it. And you could be walking away from money, right? So if you said, oh, well, I don't know anybody in Nebraska, so I just sold their house here, reach out, think about it, talk about it, right? So let's go to okay. So average checks, we can go back and forth. You all can read, but you're going to get more money than going to do a 25% referral by yourself. Okay. So remember that. Okay, who's our partners? I might have missed one. I feel like I missed one, but that's okay. Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens, Coldwell Banker, ERA, and then of course we've got us, Century 21. So these are ironically under our Realogy umbrella. You want to tell what that means, Joe?
Yes, Realogy is our parent company, you might say, and everything, all these companies, Sotheby's, Better Homes, Coldwell Banker, ERA, we all are owned by Realogy as well as Cartus. So we all fall under that umbrella. It's sort of like being in a big house. We're just in different rooms. That's how I can.
Absolutely. And we're their friends in outside markets.
That's right. No, I have friends in here too. So
Oh,
yeah.
I know. Okay, so I also send this out to you all as well. Just some suggested taglines for your email addresses. Just another way to say, hey, remember me if you're moving at all. So it even says Earth is covered in 75% water. We cover the rest. Who do you know that's planning on buying or selling anywhere in the US? Let's get your stuff set up from the very beginning. Let's make sure that you've got, got this going and you don't miss out on any opportunities at all. Good.
And I mean, I have a lot on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff. We all do the social media stuff. And I happened to be visiting in Australia with my son who lived there for part-time, and I had him take a picture of me in Australia in front of a Century 21 sign, because we're in 72 countries around the world. So I put a thing on LinkedIn saying, hey, here I am in Australia at one of my Century 21 offices. We can help you around the world. With that, I started getting people saying, hey, I'm moving here. Can you help me? Hey, I'm moving here. And it really, I mean, it's amazing. We do an outgoing referral and here comes a check for $1,800 and here comes a check for $500. And all I did was post something on Facebook and LinkedIn, and people reached out to me to help them. So.
And I meant to get that picture from you. I forgot. It's a good picture. It's cool. Okay. So I'll send this out as well, and you can pick which one works out for you and tailor it to yourself. Okay, so now we're going into a different side of business, okay? So we were thinking everything outgoing. Now we're gonna be transitioning into your business here locally. And that would be called the agent-generated referrals, okay? So where's my other, about Laura? Oh, okay. I mixed up a slide real quick. Okay, now we got to go back. This is going to get
there we go.
Now we're going back. Okay, so when we're talking about outgoing referrals, guys, that we had just talked about this whole time. So mom moving from California to Virginia and back and forth. Laura Maisel Wolf in a 12-month period made $19,672 extra.
And she didn't have to put anybody in her car.
Didn't put anybody in her car, didn't pay for pictures, didn't have to go to anybody's messy house, didn't have to deal with a roof leak, didn't have to deal with the inspections. Look how happy she is. She's gonna get so much more Lily. But she is a top agent with us, and she truly values this, the partnership as well. So that says a lot about outgoing referrals. Okay, now we're gonna transition back. I really didn't mean to do that. Okay. So this is all of our business inside, once again, inside what you are taking care of, putting people in your car, once again, going to their house, doing the pictures, the whole 9 yards, okay? So we're transitioning inside of our area. Now, AGRs are agent-generated referrals are referrals you're currently working with. So let's say Joe is in my car and you happen to mention about your service in the military however many years ago, and you served and you were at MacDill and you really liked it here. So now you're moving back from Alaska to Florida. And I say, oh, wow, thank you for your service, and we talk about it for a minute. And then I say, oh, you actually have the ability to be in our Realogy Military Rewards program. Okay. Hopefully you say it better than me. I always get tongue-tied. And they say, oh, really? There's a program for that? And we're like, this is to serve our military members and their families. And yes, you will get cash rewards after closing. Okay. Joe, what do you think about that?
I think it's a wonderful idea. I like cash.
Okay. So. Well, what about that other, and you would say, oh, my other agent that's driving me around at the same time didn't offer me that.
Right. This is a way we can solidify the relationship because you're actually offering them something that other agents can't offer them.
Absolutely. And especially, I would also ask if you're a Navy Federal Credit Union member. If you're a Navy Federal Credit Union member, you're like, oh, I love them. I have my car loan from them. I have this from them. And I was planning on getting another pre-approval because you have a pre-approval because you're in my car. another approval through Navy Fed because I think that they've got really good products right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, they do. Reach out to my friend and we'll get it set up. But that way you also get cash. So we're also doing these programs with AARP, American Airlines, Discover, Grow. Guys, we also, Deborah Haley is doing a program with Senior Transitions as well. And they also, I believe it's a gift card for that one. But whoever it is, please reach out to us. We are definitely looking for getting these people their cash rewards. And it's very likely that you will not only get that like and that trust that we always talk about, right? But you're going to have that loyal customer. And that loyal customer, I believe the National Association of Realtors says that if you close a deal, you should get 2 referrals off that deal. So here we are just, growing our business together.
Ashley, someone asked if you could go back to the taglines. They wanted to take a picture of that. The tagline slide.
Yes, I will. I'll do it. Yeah. And I'm also going to send that out too. So I'll give that a minute. They are cute though. Huh?
Well, I wanted to get that before we got too far away.
No, that's fine. Hopefully they're good. I think they're good.
Okay, take your pictures. Okay.
Okay. Oh. Now I'm like moving it and they're like, oh, I just tried. Okay. Okay. So now these programs do give Century 21 Beggins referrals as well. And that is something called the relocation team. Okay. And that is the quote unquote A team. I didn't name it. It was already named. But they give it to us. I give it to, okay. Joe is one of my A team agents. So Joe, your phone is ringing. You see it. You see it's Navy Federal calling. You answer very quickly. You press your 5 to connect immediately. And what happens then? You have a referral fee, right?
Yes, I have a referral fee that I have to pay to Cardis, and then but that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of ways to accumulate leads. Some of them, some people pay a flat fee per month. The nice thing about the lead from Navy Federal or the incoming Realogy leads is we don't pay for that lead unless it closes. So, we get a lead in, it might be a lead that we're going to pay money on, but for some reason it doesn't close or they can't buy or whatever, we don't have to pay for that lead until it actually closes. So that's one good positive thing about that.
Okay. So the whole idea of this is to make sure that we give them really great experience, right? And
yes.
Then do you want to go ahead and talk about your letters?
Yeah, so let's talk about the experience. I've been in sales for probably almost 40 years now, probably a little over 40. And what I've learned over the years is the experience that client has, whether you're selling in the commercial world or you're selling, it doesn't really matter what you're selling, that experience that they have leads to more business, leads to a successful transaction. And as realtors, we often like to control the transaction. We're control freaks in many ways, but we have to be able to communicate well with them. And in every relationship, if you're working with a couple, one couple, likes pictures, another couple likes it written out. We talked about DISC in the last segment, and that's also about communicating. We've got to communicate the way in which that personality likes. If you have a C, you better be communicating in a lot of written documentation, dot the I, cross the T twice. If you're dealing with a D, you better be giving them the Reader's Digest version. And I, you better be giving him why it's good for him and what's in it for him. S, you better be asking how they feel about where they're going and what they're doing. So each personality has a different way you're going to have to write. That's why earlier they were talking about rewriting your profiles, because you have to appeal to all those personalities. So what I've found in not only managing, but also in sales, when a deal goes sideways, it usually goes sideways because you haven't set the expectation for them and you're not communicating with them. And what do I mean by setting the expectation? Well, everything we do needs to be explained, and why it's being done and how it's being done, setting the expectation. Because in the absence of us setting the expectation for the buyer, they set the expectation. Let's give an example. Mr. Client, you can reach me anytime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You know, I'm taking calls during that time. That's my office hours. And then you got, well, then you have, if you've never had a discussion about when you're taking calls or when you're available, then they think at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, you should be answering that phone. So when you don't set an expectation, they've set it for you. Okay, their expectation is you're available at 10:30 at night. Hell, 10:30 at night, I'm already asleep. So, you know, that's one of those things that that you really have to work with. Setting that expectation both orally and I use a series of letters, which Ashley is talking about, that I've developed over a number of years. Just, you know, here is talking about when we introduction, you know, when I first meet them, I send them something about me and how we go about looking at houses. And then there's another series where after they go under contract, giving them critical dates and what we need to do during the next 10 days. And then there's one after we get done inspection. So there's a series of things that you do because it always appeals to one of those people who in the relationship, there's two that likes things written. And sometimes it's easier if you write it down and send it to them, they can read it and then have a conversation with them after you've sent it, going, hey, I sent you this letter, let's talk a little bit about it. And so, you know, it really does help in the transaction. And it does lead to, you know, a better transaction, but also it enters into a better survey. All right, so because you're going to be surveyed, and you know, one of the big things in that survey is how well you communicated and did you understand the process and was it clear? So that is kind of really an important setting that expectation. And you know what, Ashley, I want to set that expectation because I want referrals from that client that I worked with for 2 months. I want them to refer me to their friends and their family in order to get more business. And so if you have a high if you set that expectation and you deliver and the communication is open and flowing all the time, you'll do well in that survey. If not, you won't do well in the company survey.
Well, what's really nice about that is it tells you exactly what they were thinking, right? So, maybe you'll think about, you know, talking or, you know, communicating with somebody a little bit different as opposed to sending only texts. You know, that's one thing that I hear from people all the time is they won't either pick up the phone or, you know, return my email. They'll just text me.
Yeah. And
how do you
go ahead.
How do you address that initially when you first meet with, like, for example, a buyer? How do you set that expectation?
You know, again, we talk about, you know, hours of operation. I mean, you try to explain to people that, you know, after 8 o'clock at night, I need to get family stuff done and whatever. If it's an emergency, I'll certainly handle it, but there's not too many emergencies at 8 o'clock at night that really can't wait till the next day unless you're in the middle of negotiating a contract. We often kill ourselves because we're constantly being accessible, and that's great, but it also wears you out, especially this time of year where, you know, if you feel like you're on call until 11 o'clock at night. So you kind of, again, when you have that one-on-one conversation, you know, I'm available by 8 to 8. Please feel free to call me, text me, email me and explain, hey, if you email me and I'm on the road with a client, I'm probably not going to see that until I'm done. You know, if you text me, I'll be able to see that between calls. And I tell them, I will answer the phone all the time unless I'm with a client or I'm on the phone. Otherwise, I'm going to answer. So everyone understands it, and I think you can easily talk about that with people. But it's setting that expectation so they don't go crazy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when they text or call you, and you don't respond within a couple minutes that they realize you may be with somebody else. And it's setting that expectation, explaining how you want to do. Hey, we're one of the few industries out there that can be reached almost all the time. All right. So putting a little nugget on there and say, hey, but in an emergency or we're negotiating a contract, Mr. Client, we may be talking back and forth until 10 o'clock at night to get your deal under contract. But in the normal situation, we're not going to be. But
I think it's the education more than anything that helps, especially first-time home buyers. Or even people that have bought homes, 10 times. When we were talking about the agent generated referrals, I really was kind of going to the fact that Joe Diener has been amazing. You have been amazing at getting these done, right? So the only reason that you have so many agent generated referrals is because you helped them previously, right? And they came back to you. So they came back to you, and I'll even just share, if you don't mind, you did 11 additional closings last year, 11, right? Yeah. Just because people came back to you because you've done such a good job with the follow-up and making sure they had a really good experience. 6 of those were listings, which I don't even know how many buyer leads you got off the listings that you got. Can you tell me? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. But you know what? These listings are going fast too, right? Yeah. So you had $3,931,490 additional in sales. That's because you created that extraordinary experience, and they like you, trust you, and then you can keep in touch with them, and they remember your name. They remember when you're going to call and say happy anniversary. And do you remember what that put in your pocket? Do you still have it? The money?
No, I still have it. It's in the bank. Well, and the big things why we're talking about, I've been here in Tampa now for 12, 13 years. So I've acquired a large base here of business, but I also sold in Maryland, and I still keep in touch with them. And it's surprising. Somebody from my past client who I sold him a house in Maryland has moved here, and I sold him a house here. So, it's all about keeping in contact with them. And that's a whole nother part of touch points and how we touch and reach out to our past clients. And that's a whole nother class in itself.
Well, it was an extra over $66,000.
Yes.
Because you are building, you've been building. You did originally come from another brokerage that also had some of these programs, but so referral fees here and there for all kinds of different things happen, right? So
Ashley, there's a question here. Can you send us a list of the rewards, what type and from whom? And that's from Esther Rodriguez. I'm not exactly sure. Esther,
send me an email real quick. You've got my email. It's relocation@c21be.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. So, there's all kinds of different ways to create an experience, whether it's enrolling somebody in a program, helping somebody find, I didn't realize I was still sharing my screen. Sorry, guys. Goodness. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Thought it got taken away from me, honestly. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of funny.
I'm glad you brought up those statistics. I just keep selling. I don't pay attention, honestly. I just keep writing offers and contracts. So
well, $66,000. I mean, seriously, keep it coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't want all of this stuff, but One thing I would like to bring up for everybody out there, think about it. There's so many different like ways that people come to us now, right? We've got the people that are tapping in the middle of the night, and they may need something that's a little bit different than somebody that you already know in your sphere, right? Because the sphere of people they already like, you trust you. Let's say you get an op city lead, Joe, and you've been working it, and then I don't know.
This is the fun part when someone else comes in, right? Are you talking about double dipping?
Well, I just want everybody to know, please don't double dip, because we always have to respect the source, and that's it. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it, and it's short, sweet, to the point. Op City or Zillow leads are not eligible for other programs, right? So they're all just different programs.
So stay in your lane, basically. Like if it's an Op City lead, stay with that. You can't go off and offer them other, like a Navy federal deal.
I just wanted to throw that out there. It isn't, we don't have to go back too far into it, but I also just wanted to say, like, especially taking care of these clients the way that Joe has, he's put like the different rules that that some of these programs will have to update and keep track of them into his regular business. And when you do that, it creates an exceptional experience, because this is all based on statistics and things that we know work, right?
You brought up an interesting point, Ashley. The way to be successful in any sales business is to create the same pattern for everybody. In other words, you do the same thing each time. It's like, okay, when I am pending a deal, I'm pending it, and I'm also sending the information to Relo, and I'm also sending the information to the home office. So you have to have a series of processes so you don't miss a step. And if you write it down and do it the same way all the time, it becomes a habit that you do this and you don't forget it. And that's the only way I can put that point, is the fact that you have to be consistent. So every client will get an introduction letter regardless of what it is. And every client will get a letter, even though it was developed for relocation, it crosses into regular domestic sales from it right in Tampa.
Absolutely, because it's that consistency and hoping that, having everybody, once again, educated, right? So that, I can't even say that enough, just because, I've had someone, not at this company, another company, literally pull up to closing in a brand new car. And he's not a first-time home buyer,
right.
Brand new. So what do you do in that sense? Sign as fast as you can, I guess. I'm just saying,
exactly.
Like, oh my God.
Well, and the other things, it's like incorporated into the letters, like congratulating them on their closing. It is a paragraph talking about, don't go buy anything now. Don't change your credit situation. Don't go buy a new car. Don't go buy furniture. Don't buy the big screen TV. I mean, we have to have these conversations. I know it sounds really strange, but the lenders aren't having that conversation with the people, and it's their loan, and they're not having this. Hey, buddy. Hey, Fred, don't go. I know you're driving a car that's 10 years old. Wait till after you close to buy the new car.
Well, because, okay, I'm a buyer and I'm all excited, right? I can't wait to decorate my new house.
Right.
And I already got clear to close.
Yeah.
So,
and part of the problem, and with the new finance laws, is they're going to check 5 days before closing. They're going to check all the credit worthiness and employment verification again, and they have to do that. And if they don't do that, they're going against one of the rules of the loan processes, because we had people years ago, they might lose their job a week before closing. Well, they already checked employment at the beginning of the thing. So here they are selling a house to somebody who doesn't even have a job. All right, so the feds came in after the last recession and changed a lot of these rules. And it's just, when you work in the business such as mortgage, you just think everybody knows the do's and don'ts. And I just assume that nobody knows these. I rather say it in a letter to them or say it to them in person, by the way, so you know, don't go and do any of this stuff right now, because I don't want to get down 5 days before closing. You've packed all your furniture and you're given up your apartment, and now the lender denies your loan and you have no place to go. And, you know, my sofa isn't that comfortable. So, you know, that's really important. And that's the communication. And sometimes it's an old saying, but sometimes we are doing a little more than we probably should, but we have to make sure that, especially new home buyers, you're right, Ashley, they're very happy. Oh, we have room for the 70-inch screen TV, and we want that sofa we saw at Hudson's. And the next thing you know, they've gone out and bought a lot of things on credit, and they've killed their back end ratio, and now they don't qualify for a loan.
Okay, and going off of that, okay, so mortgage experience, that's a big deal right now, right? And so the clients usually put us together with everybody that they've touched, right? Because you're the ringmaster, really. So from title companies to mortgage brokers to the people that inspect your home for pests and termite control. So how is it that you have and mortgage? Mortgage is a big one. So how is it that you create that experience from the very beginning to the end, like especially when it comes to things that necessarily we're not responsible for, right?
No. You brought up an excellent point. One of the biggest things that I have found is you have to find very reputable people that you're going to recommend for, i.e., inspections. Lenders, they come to you and they have no lender. They don't know anything. They're a first time home buyer. And I can
how many people do you recommend, and do you put it in writing?
Oh, yes. I usually will recommend 2 or 3 out of each category and explain which one and say, hey, you may call them, whatever. 9 times out of 10, I give them the references. They typically don't, but I always put it down here. Here are several people for insurance. Here are several people for inspection, and you kind of go through that with them.
Perfect. So especially too, like,
Ashley,
explaining.
Real quickly before we go, sending communication via letter, i.e. expectations, contract, and inspection letter. Is there a generic template that can be used for the basic unit format? No, there's no generic format. I'm trying, Dwayne Hudson, Dwayne, if you do me a favor, I got I'll write your email address. I don't have we really should actually have some kind of format. I mean, I have the letters, but you don't want to, you can't, you write a letter in your own voice, all right, and what you are, and so you have to kind of redo it anyway, but I can give you kind of what you cover in each letter, and that'll help you put it in your own voice. But obviously in an introduction letter, you're going to say how excited you are that you're going to be working with them, would be one paragraph. The second paragraph, let me tell you a little bit about myself, since I spent some time on the phone finding out about you. So here's a small paragraph about me. And then 3, let's talk about how we go about buying a house, as far as, making appointments for seeing houses, because some people haven't, people come from all different areas of the country, and believe it or not, they don't work the same way everywhere. All right. In some areas of the country, you don't give a deposit on the property until after you do an inspection. But here we give a good faith deposit when we're putting the offer in. So it's really important to kind of sit down and talk to them. Here's the process that we're going to go through buying buying a house, because it's different in different areas. We've got the contract. You're going to have to give a good faith deposit of about this much money. And then you're going to talk about doing inspections, and then you're going to talk about financing and everything else like that, and how you go about. So yeah, it's, it's a compilation of the last almost 20 years in real estate, trying to figure out. I developed
also,
because of relocation, Ashley, because sometimes these people are in Korea and you're not really having a chance to one-on-one talking with them until they're really in front of you a few weeks later. So
awesome. And also, I would really like to throw in there for the whole experience, making sure you are best friends with that mortgage company and the mortgage loan officer, making sure that you are communicating with them, whether they've gotten the HOA information. We've run into that quite a few times.
It's really important to, as you're establishing yourself as a realtor, to get good partners in the business that you can rely on. And, inspectors, sometimes one will get tied up. Well, you better have 2 or 3 that you can refer to. And some inspectors are really good at certain things like older homes, and some inspectors, don't like them. So again, it's really important to have that network of people.
It's all about taking care of the customer. It really is. And making sure that we're doing the right thing, being kind to each other and making sure that we take care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Joe
Mm-hmm.
obviously does that. So that's why so many people come back to him. So that's awesome. So you just made an extra, 66 grand because people like you. And it's way more than that, because not all of your business is that. We're talking about all of business. It's not just
about
that.
$10 or $12 million a year. It fluctuates from year to year. I try to keep it consistent.
Right. And that's what you do whenever you've been in this business for 13 years. So.
Well, 20 years.
20.
So there are a couple questions here, Ash, real quick. Joanne, can you send me an email at joediener@c21be.com, and I will help you with that. Dwayne,
sure, you know what? I'm going to put our email addresses in here, so it's just in there. So you have it, and you can use it anytime you want. Next week would be great.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I wanted to get Dwayne's before we.
Okay. So yeah, so basically we're just talking about making sure that you're taking care of the customer as a whole, right? Mm-hmm. Is it that they're going to need to have, outbound services that is going to, going to really take care of them? Is it, what can we help with them here? And Joe is a really great example of that. And he's the top agent. So that makes a big difference too, because obviously you find value in keeping, all your referrals going. So
I wanted to see if anybody had some questions out there, Ash, we've been talking for 40 minutes here. So as to see if there's any other questions out there we might be able to help with, or to.
Yeah, we've got a lot of friends that aren't technically with our company. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple from Redwood. Say hi to Tina for us.
Again, setting back that expectation, I can't, Ashley, you typed my email.
Panelist. Sorry. Y'all already have my email.
But mine is DEANER. Setting that expectation, I talk about that a lot at our sales meetings, because that's really when you don't really sit and explain. And you got to remember, these people are not in the business. They don't do this 70 hours a week. All right. We do. All right.
I just thought of something too. I'm VA and I don't have to put anything down. That's a whole nother expectation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we do need to make sure you're having those conversations, and sometimes they're tough, But once again, setting the expectation so that they realize, that they don't realize as you're writing a contract that they need to come up with $10,000 or.
That's why in my letter it says, hey, you have to have a good faith deposit of around 1% of the value. And some sellers may request more depending on the value of the house. So that's setting the expectation. And I go, it's one of the questions, especially VA buyers, they're told, oh yeah, I don't need anything down. Well, what they don't understand is they don't need anything down for their mortgage, but they do need a deposit. And depending on, and then of course the other thing is their lender's telling them that, oh, the seller will pay all your closing costs. Well, fortunately, this market, that's almost impossible with, I just pulled the reports. In Hillsborough County, we have 1.1 months supply on hand of single family homes. The chances are slim to none that they're going to get closing cost help from a seller right now, unless that house has been on the market for a month or more. They're gone so fast. I had a client out this weekend, and 2 of the houses they were looking at were already in multiple offers. So, if you have people with need closing costs help, they're not even going to be able to compete. Even with escalation clauses and stuff like that, you can only go up so much. You got to appraise. So,
and if I'm sitting in your car driving around, you want to know that I know that and that I'm comfortable with giving 1%.
Sometimes it's an uncomfortable conversation when you're talking with them, like saying, so tell me, has your lender approved you yet? And have they talked to you about closing costs? So you're trying to get an understanding where they are in the process. Sometimes they're such in the beginning that they're really needing your help. They really need to have some kind of guidance. And if you think of a wheel, we're kind of in the middle of the wheel, right? We have, the lender, we have the inspectors, we're in the center of that wheel making that thing go around. And unfortunately, we can't get out of that. Even everybody calls the real estate agent when there's a problem, even though it's not our problem. So,
make sure you're the one that has that list of the AC people and everything else. Make sure you're the one that they're calling when they close, so that that you have that relationship and that help. And I know that Joe Diener does that, and we've got an awesome team that has lots of resources as well. This asking for, hey, I need a roofer or any of that type thing. So we aim to please for sure. And I did mean Joe Diener.
Yes.
I'm glad he can spell his own name, so we're good. And so anyways, yeah, so I can't type and talk, but yeah, so if you have any questions or anything, and like I said, we really try to make it a whole experience at Century 21 Beggins. Joe's an amazing example of that. So I thank you for everything that you do for these clients, Joe, and all the other people that are at Beggins. I mean, even our leadership team is great and very helpful and knows their stuff. I think that you've probably figured that out by now.
We have an awesome management team. And it's funny because when someone calls me with a question and goes, hey, I have this, and I'm like, that's not my expertise, but it is Thomas's or is Chris's or whatever. And I answer questions. I get calls all the time from anybody. I don't care if they work for me or, work in South Tampa or not. I'm very happy to help them. And I think that's just the way the whole team is.
Yes. I've got to say, like more than anything, that is what we're doing here, is once again, trying to create that experience for our clients. And that's what feeds us for sure. So, well, you know what, but at the end of the day, we're in it to help people. I think that if everybody has that mindset, we're in it to help people. Be kind, help people, and the rest of it will come. So
have fun, help people, make money.
There we go. Now we've got Jeff Beggins. Okay. Thank you guys. I know everybody probably needs a bio break.
Yes, I think so. Okay. Thank you. If anybody has questions, feel free to email us. Enjoy the rest of your time and exciting. Seriously, this is actually really good stuff.
I've been listening to all of it myself. They, the management team here is amazing. So get all the, take all your notes that you can.
All right. Thank you,
Have a good
guys.
day.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to add in my esteemed co-host here, Otis, and then we will get going here in just a second. Let's see. There he is. Otis, you should be in.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. Good. In
Good,
South
good,
Tampa
good.
at the moment for the first class. Second class
Awesome.
will be.
I like it. Well, hopefully everyone has learned something this morning. I know I did. I tuned into all the sessions, thought they were great. Jeff and Chris really nailed it this morning, and they're going to be, I think, back here actually after us. Yes, they are, with an amazing class. So you certainly want to either attend that one live or come back and watch the recording version once we have that done. But and then Ashley and Joe just crushed it right before us. So the bar has been set. Otis, we have got to deliver here this afternoon. Otherwise, we'll get made fun of in the next managers meeting, and we can't have that. So let's dive right in. I'm going to share my screen here.
You'll see me mute out every now and then because we'll have some riffraff in the background of South Tampa. So
Yeah, no worries. All right, let's see here. Let me just slide this over. We're going to share this screen here 1 second. Perfect. And present. Okay. So today's class, obviously, I hope all of you, or at least most of you, attended the class we did yesterday, which was kind of just the introduction to what I think you should be doing on a social media basis every day. And then Otis did a deep dive there at the end, or I should say a shallow dive, because I didn't really give him enough time to go too deep. So I apologize for that. But we did dive into Google My Business, which is also an extremely effective tool. So today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into actually creating content, the tools that we use at the brokerage level. I know I use them, Otis uses them, the brokerage uses them, as well as how we just think about content, why it's so powerful in your business if you're leveraging it properly. We're also going to give you some examples of some great agents that both work for us and don't work for us, that are leveraging social and creating content that I think is delivering. And then we're going to go through how we actually distribute that content, as well as how we can prospect through social media. And I know Otis has done this in his business. He's taught other agents to do it. And it's something that obviously I spend a lot of my time trying to coach agents on how to do more effectively. So let's dive right in. So when I first got here, I was creating funnels. I was trying to teach agents how to build out these kind of elaborate multi-step advertising funnels within Facebook and Instagram. And then I would look out into the crowd, and this is literally the face that I saw at the end of these classes, right? Everyone was so confused, and it was obviously not hitting home. So we decided to kind of simplify things and change it up. And so as we've gone, I've really simplified this down to 3 things, which is, first, we have to create content. Then we've got to distribute the content. And then we have to use that to prospect and engage. And so those are really the 3 things that we're going to focus on today. And hopefully at the end of this hour, you're going to feel more comfortable to go out, create your own content, and really start to leverage it in your business. Otis, do you think I'm missing anything on these 3 things?
no, you're not. It's basic framework that you just use it over and over. So no, you're on track.
All right. So step 1, posting, right? This is the actual content creation. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. What should we post? When should we post? Where should we post? How often should we post? Should we create? Should we share? These are all questions that are running through your head, and I tried to answer a lot of them yesterday. What we should post is really depending on you and your business. And today I'm going to show you a bunch of examples that other agents are doing, but ultimately they want you. They want to see that you're a human being. They want your personality to come through. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be your face on camera. And I'm going to give you examples of agents that don't really get on camera that much. And then I'm going to give you examples of agents that do. Right? So some of you are never, ever going to record yourself because you think you sound stupid. There's not enough makeup in the world to cover up the night you had before. I've heard all the excuses, right? Even though we all know what you look like and sound like, you're never going to do it no matter what I tell you. So there are ways, though, that you can still leverage social media and create content that don't involve your face being the main front of everything, right? So we're going to show you some examples of that today. When we should post, as much as humanly possible, because that's what the algorithm thrives on. So we're going to dive into that. Where we should post, we talked about that yesterday. The platforms we focus on, at least at the moment, are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, heavily LinkedIn. Twitter is still relevant. TikTok's emerging. And then obviously we've got Workplace and other things that I would highly encourage you to be active on. And then how often should we post? As much as humanly possible. And should we create or share? So we're going to dive into that because there are multiple ways to quote unquote create content without you actually having to create anything. So tools to help, okay? Here's how easy this is. We've got canva.com. This is my #1 tool. Otis, do you use Canva? You do, okay. So
Yes.
So I love Canva, right? I love the mobile app. It's free, as well as the desktop version. So we're going to dive into just how easy Canva is. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to slide this over. And we're actually going to show you. So for those of you that aren't too familiar with Canva, basically Canva, the punchline is it is graphic design that has become point and click. Okay. So when you come in, there are so many options, but realistically, from a social perspective, there's only a few things that you're going to really need to worry about, right? And so when I come in and I log in, they actually categorize it. So if I click social media, they've already created optimized sized posts for every platform. Now, Facebook and Instagram can use the same size, so that's not a big deal either way. But let's just say I want to create an Instagram sized feed post. So this would be a post that I'm going to put into the feed of Facebook or Instagram. Charles said I'm getting feedback. Otis, are you getting feedback? No? Okay. Not sure. Chuck, I'm not sure why you're getting feedback. I apologize. I don't know if anyone else is getting feedback. Better now. Okay. Interesting. So I apologize for that. Okay. So once you're in Canva, when you come in, it's going to give you a ton of templates. So for those of you that are not creatively inclined, you don't need to be. Canva's already done a lot of the creative side for you, okay? So literally, it's just a matter now of picking any of these that you like, right? Anything that's going to catch the attention of the end consumer. And then once you find a template that you like, you can click on it and use it. So let's just use this one. And a lot of times, the messaging that they even give you is great. Now, you can easily double click on this and edit the text. We can change the placement, right? I can drag this text up, I can drag it down. It's going to give me the lines to make sure that everything gets centered properly. I can change the font type up here. So I can really change anything. And then even if I don't love this image in the background, all I have to do is click photos and I can upload my own photos, or they give you a ton for free, right? So, and they categorize, so I can literally search anything. So if I wanted to search plant based on if I was going to use this text here, which is a great message to send out to your clients, and we're going to go into why in a second. But let's just say I like this one instead. I click on it, it'll bring it over. I put it in the background. I can delete this one out. So I literally select delete, drag this, drag it down, and I'm done. Now, if I don't like, maybe I need this picture a little bit darker, I can click on it. I can even change it to a filter. So I can make the picture black and white. I could use no filter and just clicking on elements here. And we have a whole training on our YouTube channel. If you just go to B3 Real Estate channel on YouTube and search Canva on our channel, you're going to find it. But I could drag over a square, okay? Drag it over the whole thing, make it black. This is how easy graphic design is now, guys. Click position because I want it to obviously be behind my text, and then I can control the transparency. So now, if I want my text to pop a little bit more, I essentially just created a filter, okay? So just like that, I just created a nice looking post, and it took minutes, not hours, not going back and forth, minutes, right? Now, I can even upload my own logo, right? So you'll see here, logos. So you can come in here and upload your own logo. So I've obviously got a ton loaded in here, but let me go down to our Century 21 Beggins logo. I click on it. It'll bring my logo over. I can drag my logo down, and now I've got a nice branded post. Now, if I don't like the color of my logo, I click adjust, and I can change the color of my logo to match the post. Boom, done. Now that I'm done, I click this download button. I can save it as a PNG, which is typically what you're going to do. JPEG would be fine too. And I click download. And it's going to save right to my phone, or right to my computer in this case, because I did it on my desktop. This also works just as well and just as easy inside of the mobile app, which is also free. I use the mobile app for Canva. I use it every single day, and it's super, super easy to do. Okay, so literally you can create a post like this in seconds. Now, here's the other advantage of Canva. Let's say that I want to use this same post, but I want to reformat it to fit and be contextual to all the different places on the platforms. So I know a lot of you like stories, right? But now I could take this post right here, come up here, click resize, and come down here, and it's going to give me a bunch of options. Instagram story being one of them. I check Instagram story, copy and resize, and it's literally going to reformat, kind of keep everything here. I'm going to need to adjust a few things, but it's literally just reformatted this now to the optimal size for Facebook and Instagram stories, which is a vertical format. So obviously I want to drag my filter here up and down. I could maybe make my text bigger based on it being vertical. Recenter. There we go. Maybe I want to make my logo a little bigger. And get it centered. And click download. Now, in a matter of minutes, I have a post that can go in the feed of LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and a story post that can go on Instagram stories and Facebook stories in minutes, guys. So creating content doesn't have to be hard. We make it hard sometimes. And obviously, if you're with Century 21, Business Builder has some of these capabilities as well. I personally don't use Business Builder quite as much. Okay, I just don't. But it's got some templates in there, and it's got some things you can do. Otis, do you use Business Builder or do you use Canva more?
I use both. Business Builder for me is more about engaging in my database, and Canva would be creating some artwork to engage those who are not in my database. And so with Business Builder, I already have a pretty good idea of where I'm going with it. And Business Builder also, it gives me a landing page that I can use. So if I'm trying to drive in any kind of traffic or questions on my, let's say it's a property I'm advertising or something along those lines, I like to use landing pages, and Business Builder gives me the ability to do that. And Business Builder is also an automated touch system, so it sends out all holiday emails, market letters, things of that nature.
Yep, love it. That's a great separation between the two. Now, before I move on from Canva and we go into the next tool, I do also want to show you something, another way that I love Canva from a content creation perspective, because content goes beyond just creating a post for Facebook, right? We also need to understand that content is any real messaging and communication that we are going to send to anyone else, right? That's really what content is. And the content needs to be engaging, and we're going to go into some examples of that. But it can also be a prospecting tool, and we're going to talk about prospecting here in just a few minutes. So one thing, I'll just give you an example. So if I go back home, I'm actually already there, so let me X out of these. I'm going to go here. So if I click, so Canva will store all of your designs too, so you can always come back, edit, and use them later. Okay, now, like I said, we use Canva every single day. So just as an example, all of these posts were created in Canva. Every single one of them created in Canva. Okay, so much different potential. You can see all these look different, they feel different, but they were all created within the platform. Now, there's something I want to show you though, because you can also create amazing pieces of content for your clients, whether they're a prospective client or real client. So I'm going to keep scrolling down here, and we're going to find a great example. Here it is. So we have for sale by owner guide that we created. Those are the ads for it. Let me actually find the real guide. Hold on one second. I know it's here. And we're actually, the class that Otis and I are going to do together at 2 o'clock today is going to dive into Remind. And this is going to be a very helpful tool when we get to Remind. Here it is here. So this guide was created in Canva. Okay, and I'm just going to use this as an example of just other pieces of content messaging that we want to give to our clients. So what we've done, and many of you that work for us have seen this, and a lot of you have started to use it, but to bring value to our clients, we created a for sale by owner guide. We literally created a full guide that tells them how, or advises them, I should say, on how to sell their house themselves, knowing that a majority will not. And even though we're going to give them step by step, they're still not going to do it. But what I did here is I came in and there's a flyer template, okay? And I created flyers, and you can keep adding pages. And we built an entire guide for them for sale by owners on exactly what they should be doing and everything they should be doing to sell their home themselves. And the whole goal was to bring value here. And the whole goal also was to make them so overwhelmed when they saw all the things that they should be doing, that you would be doing as their agent for them. A lot of times this is what sparks that, oh crap, this is a lot more than just putting a sign in the yard, right? This is a lot more than that. There's a lot more to it. The contract, which one do I use? How does escrow work? Inspection periods, finance approval periods, all that kind of stuff. So this literally walks them through the whole thing. And then to Deb and, or not Deb, sorry, Ashley and Joe were hinting on, you having that list of contacts, and Joe and Chris hit on it, having that list of contacts and giving those, that comes into play here too. But this document was created. Now, what I love about this in Canva is once I create my template, and this could be a mailer, this could be a postcard, but once you create a template you like, I can actually personalize this. So if I was going after Otis, for example, rather than create this generic one, so I create a generic template, but all I'd have to do now is come up, click File, and click Make a Copy. And when I click Make a Copy, it's going to make a copy of the whole guide. And then all I have to do is actually personalize this. So instead of making this generic, I would just duplicate some of this text, right? So if I click this button here, it's going to duplicate the text. And I would come over here and put Otis Bass And then obviously we can resize everything to make it appropriate. And then I can say 123 street, right? Whatever the address is of Otis's property that I'm going to be pitching. And I could put that right over here and personalize this guide to Otis, just like that. So I have my template, then I come in and there might just be a few other pieces of information that I want to put in that personalized guide. As an example, when I get down in here into the pricing, Otis, I could come in here and customize this for Otis based on what we're going to go into Remind later and show you how to do this, right? So I could use this as an easy tool to create templates. So I want us to begin to think about content far beyond just creating a post for Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It goes far beyond that, and Canva is a great tool to do that. So if you're not playing around with Canva or you haven't really explored it too much, I highly, highly encourage you to do that. Okay. All right, let's go back here and keep going. So our next tool is lumen5.com. So this is for those of you that want to do video, and I love this tool because this tool is also, there's a free and a paid version just like Canva, okay? But you can also, I'm going to come back here to share my screen here. Hold on 1 second, there we go. And we're going to go to lumen5.com. And so Lumen 5 gives you the ability here. What just happened? There it goes. So Lumen 5 has the ability to create video, and you can do it for your own video. So you can actually upload your own pictures. So we could do this for a listing that we have. We could do this for an article. We could do this by just uploading and create or using their content. Actually, we don't even have to upload. We can use their imagery and their little video clips to create videos. So as an example, I'll just show you all the capabilities here very quickly. So we're going to click create video. And it's running a little slower because we're also running 2 different Zooms here. So I do apologize. But when this loads, we have the option to create this video in a couple different ways. And again, we can optimize for the size. So if I wanted to create a story video for Instagram stories or Facebook stories, I could. Or if I want to create it in the feed of, create it in the feed of Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you could do that as well. So with Lumen 5, it's lumen5.com, the number 5, in case any of you want to go check it out. If it would load, that would be awesome. Otis, what are you doing on your social more? Are you doing more video, more pictures? What are you doing?
I've been mixing it up between messages, similar to yours. If it's advertising a property of mine or a property of the brokerage, I want to make sure that there's landing pages. If it's an open house, then I make sure on Facebook that they can send messages. And so with that, with the way the world is right now with COVID, there's a lot of people that don't want to go to open houses, they don't want to go show homes. So we really want to focus on making sure that we showcase the property with either 3D or video walkthrough, or even the landing page. The landing page may give, with Century 21's landing page, it gives a lot of information and a little short video at the bottom. But the premise is always a call to action and then a landing page. So that way the call to action sends them to the landing page and we get information from them so we can engage them. What I have found that works out well is videos with captions. And I read this statistic, videos are often 80% of them on social media are viewed without sound. And so it creates a longer engagement time, but it's important to have the captions on there. I've found that you can go into YouTube Studio and do that. You can create the captions yourself. The one challenge with that is to record it with the captions on there, so that way the content can always have the captions. Now you can also, on your Facebook business page, when you upload a video, it has the ability to do the captions for you, or you can transcribe it yourself. And so that way your video does have a little bit stickier quality and content, where people watch it a little bit longer. I say sticky, meaning they're not leaving so quickly. Again, we're dealing with a 9-second attention span on the internet. So it's not very long. It's like competing with the goldfish. And so if you don't get it out there and you get the call to action to them quickly, then they're off to the next thing. So I have found that that having the landing page or a video with captions or 3D has been working out for engagement the best when it comes to just displaying a property. As far as content, I got to tell you, I kind of borrow from you. So you do a good job with it, man. I'm not recreating the wheel.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, that's a great point though. And that's one of the reasons I do like Lumen 5, because it is text-based, it is caption-based. But to your point, guys, if you're doing videos on Facebook, Instagram, anything at all, and you are talking in the video, and what you were saying is important, you do need to make sure that you're captioning it. And there are a couple tools. So obviously Otis mentioned Facebook they have a tool where they'll actually take your voice from the video and they'll create captions for you. They're not perfect, they're pretty good. So you can go in and edit those as needed. Or there are some caption tools. We use one. They typically do cost money, so there is a cost to that if you want to do it. But to Otis's point, and I think that number is actually increasing steadily, but it is about 80 to 90% of videos on Facebook and Instagram are watched without sound. So it's important to get that across. So that's a great point. Now, as far as Lumen 5 goes, as I mentioned, we have a couple different ways, right? We can use our own media, we can upload stuff, we can use their media. The other thing we can do is we can actually come in here and just search. So if I just search real estate as an example, it's going to find articles related to real estate, okay? Now, I'm just gonna pick one here just to do it. So how to pick 10 baggers, right? Cool, if I think this is something my audience will care about, I click on it. And then again, I can optimize, right? For where am I sending it? So let's just do the news feed for now. And then I can control what does it look like? And I can still edit this on the back end of things as well. But just from a general perspective, what kind of color scheme do I want to go with? What do I want the look and feel to be? So let's just do this one here. And then it's going to create, using AI technology, it's actually going to take that article and it's going to create a video version of that article. It's going to use AI to help determine what little video clips and imagery should be in there. And it's going to auto pick pieces of the article to put in there as well. Now, if I want to change any of that, it's fully customizable. Okay, so I can come in here now and pick different parts of the article. As this loads, you're going to see it's going to have pulled some main parts of the article and put it into this little video format, right? So it pulls the title automatically. I scroll down here, it's going to pull pieces of this article and create a short little video that is going to be optimized. Again, if I don't like any of the text that it did pull, I can delete the whole slide. I can edit the text. I can edit the imagery behind it. So if I don't like what it did, I can change it. So as an example, if I come over and click media, it gives me a lot of options. I can upload my own. I can search theirs. So if I just search real estate, this is going to search the content that they provide and they've already optimized for. So let's just say I want to use this video clip here. I just drag it over, drop it, and it will change to it. Okay. If I don't like where the text is, I can control that. If I click on the text, I have lots of options here. I can obviously edit the text, but I can also change the placement of it. So you'll see this little box here, text position. If I click this, I can say, nope, I want the text down there. And it's going to move it down there. Okay. If I want to highlight a different part of it or the whole thing, I can highlight it here and I can say highlight and it's going to make it red. Okay. Again, if I don't like the red, because if you're with Century 21, we tend to want everything to be in our dark gray and Vegas gold. I get it. So if I click style, I have the ability to come down and say, nope, I want the highlight to be our Vegas gold color, which is hashtag B6A888. Hit enter. And when my computer catches up here, it will change that red to our Vegas gold. It's freezing up on me here. Come on. There it goes. And so I can change that red to Vegas gold there. And then I'll, if I want to do the same thing for all the other slides, because that's your title slide, I just come do the same thing here. So I'm going to edit this to be hashtag B6A888. And it will change it to Vegas gold. So as you can see, that what was red is now Vegas gold. Okay, so now I get the color scheme I want, and I can again come in, edit any of this, delete any of this. When I'm done, I can select music to go in the background of it. So it gives you a bunch of free music. So let's just say, and I can come and listen to it. Click It's a Good Life. I don't know what this sounds like, but we can listen to it, see if we like it. And then once you find the one that you like, you just click on it. And that will be your thing. And then I can click preview. And when I do that, it's going to load, render, and show me a preview of the whole video. And then when I click publish, it will create it and give me the ability to download it. Okay, so now you're not going to hear the music because I have it. I'm doing this on the desktop here, and my audio is through my phone, so you're not going to hear the music. There is music playing on it, and you can see it just instantly creates a nice little video with nice text, has a nice professional feel to it, and literally can take you minutes to do it. And if this is something that your audience is going to care about, now you've just created a piece of content, video content in minutes, so you can do it. Now, so I like mixing in video and imagery the same way Otis just said, because you want to have that your feed that you're presenting to your clients have a different feel a little bit unique every single day. And so mixing in video to imagery. And so this is a very easy and fast way to create video content. And I saw someone ask if it's free. There is a paid version and a free version. So yes, there is a free version. It does have some limitations as far as like the optimized sizes. So you can't do stories, I don't think, in that for free. It also doesn't give you the 1080 definition. It only does up to 720. But honestly, all the social platforms render it down anyways. So that's really irrelevant. So once I was done, I clicked publish. And as you can see here, if I go back to my account, once a video publishes, you will get a notification from them. It only takes a few minutes, and then you can download this and post. So very easy and free way to create video content. And they do have instant videos too that they've already created for you. So if you wanted to come in and just download theirs, you could. That's completely up to you. I like to kind of create my own, but just so it has a different feel. And then obviously, if you work for us, you're also getting a free post from me every single morning that I do for you, that's branded, done. We do mix in video, we have imagery, we do it all for you. We write the copy, and that's in your inbox every day. So you can feel free to use that as a piece of content as well. Okay, so once this was done, I just click here. Actually, sorry, that one's not rendered yet. So once it's done, you'll have the download option. I click that, and it's going to put it right onto my computer. Okay, very quick, very easy to use. Otis, any comments on that before we move on to the next tool?
No, that was nice.
Nice and easy, I think, from a video perspective. Okay, now we talked about Meteor Go very briefly yesterday. If you like the idea of somebody else doing content for you, then you may like the idea of Meteor Go. If you do not work for Century 21, I'm sorry, I can't really help you with this one. You can still get it, but I think it's drastically more expensive. We have negotiated a deal as part of Century 21 where they take their normal like couple $100 a month and they make it $200 for the year. So it's actually $17 a month. Meteor Go will create and post content for your behalf. So very quickly, for those of you that want to see it, I'm actually going to show it to you. So let me go back here.
And Mike, I got a few Meteor Go posts I can share with the audience as well.
Perfect.
It's done for me. I already subscribe to Meteor Go, so I get 1 or 2 posts daily, depending on if it's the weekend or not. Sometimes I don't post so much on the weekend, and so I make sure that I got some kind of content going out there. If anyone comes to my Facebook page, it's busy. There's relevance there. I'm not a secret agent, but more importantly, it's actually attracted some people that I didn't expect it to attract with certain content that I put out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the way we use it, right? We're still creating our own content, but I know now that without me lifting a finger, I'm going to have 2 posts a day, 7 days a week without me having to do anything.
That's
So
right.
now
It's always real
everything-
estate related.
Exactly. And you're going to pick the topics, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But the best part about it is now I know that when I create my content on top of it, now I went from posting 2 times a day to maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, because if I can create a couple pieces of content on top of it, now I'm giving myself huge potential for more reach. And that's a common question, right? Is how many times should I post? Well, guys, here's the reality. The algorithm lives off of engagement. So the more you feed it, the more it understands who your audience is. The more it understands who your audience is, the more people it's going to show it to. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, they have one objective, one, and that is to keep you on the platform. Because if you are on the platform and you are scrolling through, that gives them the ability to show ads. And if they can show ads, they make money. So that is literally their only objective. That is why it is very rare for you to see stuff in your feed that you do not want to see. If you are seeing something in your feed, you engaged in something that told that algorithm that you are interested in that topic, and which is why it is putting it in your feed. So as I'm going to go there in a minute, but on our Facebook post, the daily post today, I actually got it from one of our agents who did it the other day. We shared that out as a company, and I've been scrolling through, looking at everyone who shared it, including myself. And the engagement on that post is insane, right? So what happens? Well, the post has nothing to do with real estate. It literally was it asked the audience to comment the first 6 emojis in their phone, and that, quote unquote, described their life during the pandemic, right? But the amount of engagement of people sharing it was through the roof on every single person's post. I mean, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 comments on people's posts this morning that I saw, right? So when that happens, there is no greater gift in the world for that agent now, because those people have all just told Facebook or Instagram or wherever they shared it that they care about what that poster posts. So for the next few days, if that agent stays consistent and keeps posting content, especially engaging content, photos, videos, things that they know that that audience is going to continue to engage in, guess what Facebook's going to do? They're going to keep delivering that content in all of those people's newsfeed, because those people have indicated, hey, Facebook, we care about what Mike has to say. We care about what Otis has to say. That's what you're telling it when you engage in something. And what is their main objective? Keep you on the platform. So they want to keep Otis happy. They want to keep Mike happy. So they're going to keep showing stuff that they think is relevant to those individuals. That's how it works. So that is why content is so powerful. If you are not being consistent in your content, it's why you're not getting any engagement when you do post, because you haven't given the algorithm enough data points to say, hey, this is what my audience cares about. These are people who want to see my stuff. It has no idea, and it's not going to guess. Right? So we have got to feed the algorithm. Meteor Go is a great way to do it. So when you come in and you're setting up your account, you'll connect your Facebook account to it. And when you do that, you actually have the ability to pick your topics. Okay? So when you come in, these are all the topics available. Now, if I don't want it to do it, I just uncheck it. but I have the ability to pick real estate, home improvement, investment, mortgage, finance, eco-friendly, celebrity luxury homes, do it yourself, real estate, humor, technology, all this stuff, right? So again, if I don't want it, I just uncheck it. You could check all of them, you could check one. So what this is telling them is, okay, I want you to find articles and pieces of content that relate to this subject matter because I believe my audience will care about that, okay? Then when you do, I click save, and now it knows that. Then I can come in and say, okay, I also want to control the frequency. And so they will post up to 2 times a day, 7 days a week. You don't want it to post twice a day because you think that's too much, even though I would argue with you, then do once, okay? It's up to you. You control it, completely up to you. If you are a real control freak, which you don't have to admit it, those watching, I know there's a few of you. If you are and you don't want anything going onto your newsfeed without your approval, no problem. You can actually set it to your approval and they will send you the post and say, hey, we want to post this. Is this okay? You can review what they're going to post and then allow it. I personally, once I know the topics, I know they're not going to post anything that's damaging to my business, just post away, right? I don't want to have to go through all of that. So I just let them post, and so you can control the post approval. You can also control your post settings. That's where you're going to say approve mode or select mode, right? So it'll note all of that for you. And then from a local content perspective, it will also allow you to put in your city and state. And when it'll look at the topics, and if there is local content that it has found related to your city or state and that topic, it will actually post that for you and customize it and drill it down so that it's geographically contextual to your audience, which is really cool. There's a lot of articles that we use that are about Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay real estate specifically, which is really, really cool. The other thing this will do very quickly is this will create other content or give you the ability to create other content. So I can actually come in here. It'll do your Facebook background banner for you. So you can tell it what you want it to say. You can upload the picture or your logo, and then it will create images for you and do a little video for you. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second because we actually do have that on ours. Oh, so do you have your background? Did they do your background for you? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
I don't have it now.
Okay, I'll show what that looks like then in a second. They will also do videos for you. So if I come in here and I have a listing, I can actually come in and click single listing, and then it will ask me for my information as the agent. And when I click next, I can actually put in a link from either the listing, dedicated listing website page that you get from us if you work at Century 21, that's automatically created for you. Or if you're not with us, you're with somebody that maybe doesn't do that for you, either smaller brokerage, whatever. If you want to use your Zillow link or anything like that, you could come in and link that here, put in the property address, put in some information about the property. They'll have you upload some photos, or they'll pull the photos that you have on that listing, and they will actually create a listing video for you that you can then go share. It's a very cool thing. All of this, guys, all of it is included for $199 a year, $17 a month. Again, if you're with Century 21, if you're not, I apologize. You'd have to look into it separately and see if you can get a similar deal. But want to show that tool. Any questions you have on Meteor Go, put them in the chat box there, and we will try and answer it as we go. But I do want to keep moving. Okay.
Mike, I may have misunderstood your
Yep.
question. I do have Meteor Go's background on my business Facebook page. Yes, if that was your
Okay,
question.
good. Yeah. I want to. I'm gonna actually go there real quick because I do want people to see kind of what this looks like in case you're wondering what the content looks like. We can give you some examples. I know Otis is using it. A lot of our agents actually have started to use it, and we use it actually on our business account as well. Just to supplement content. So for some of you, this might be your only content. For others, it might just be to supplement it. Again, I like the frequency because even if 30 people engage in it, that's 30 people that have told Facebook that we care about what those people are posting about, right? So that's all really good stuff. And that's what we want. We want to feed that algorithm, okay? So as an example, this video here, was done by Meteor Go. This content here, so that's our content, right? This was the post earlier that we posted here. 324 people reached, 23 engagements. Great. Those are 23 people that are now going to see our stuff for the rest of the week. And this stuff here, you'll see was Meteor Go, right? So trendy, fun, eco-friendly, repurposed wood, do-yourself projects. Do you think homeowners might care about that? Sure, right? Content, it's interesting, it's engaging. This was us, Canva, right? So again, we're supplementing content. We put that in there, but Canva posted this. Okay, Canva post. I mean, not Canva. Sorry, Meteor Go posted this. Meteor Go, right? So we're mixing in our own content, and then Meteor Go is supplementing that content. Our own content, Meteor Go, right? So just a very easy way, guys, to get content pushed out there for you and make sure that we're creating consistency, because a lot of times that is what we struggle with the most. Okay. Let's move along here. So again, just to recap, they want you guys, they want to know that you're a human being. They want to know things that you care about, because more than likely you have some connection points. When I post stuff that is about my kids playing baseball, a lot of people in my personal sphere, including Otis, can relate to it because his kid plays baseball with my son, right? And that alone, his daughter plays softball, which is a close relation. So if Otis is in my sphere, he wants to know that my kids play baseball. And I want him to know that my kids play baseball, because I know that his kids play baseball. And that is a commonality that we can now leverage to build a stronger relationship. And if I'm trying to get Otis to be a client, then I want that, right? I want to find those connection points. That's why I post about the Redskins, because I know that not everyone sorry, not the Redskins anymore, the team from Washington, I guess is what I need to refer to them as at the moment, since we don't have a name. But the football team from Washington, D.C. is my favorite team. So if I post about that, a lot of my sphere wasn't. But you know what? I discovered so many people in my sphere and that work for this company that are the fans of the same team that I didn't know. And guess what? Even if they're not, if they're a Dallas Cowboys fan, they're going to let me know that. And now we can have fun banter back and forth, right? But again, it's an engagement point. So the more that I'm willing to share about myself in the content that I post, I'm more likely going to engage with my sphere, which is all I really want. I just want to find those engagements. So don't overthink it. But the way I always kind of think about content is that it should entertain, it should educate, it should encourage, or it should drive some sort of emotion. It should do one or multiple of those things. If it doesn't, and you don't believe in it, and it's not authentic to you, and you're just posting it because you want to post it, it's not going to work, right? If I tried posting content because I knew a couple of my friends were Dallas Cowboys fans, if I tried to post content as if I like the Dallas Cowboys, first of all, I would throw up in my mouth, but then I would also not come across as being authentic, because it's not real. It's not who I am. So we have to be authentic to who you are, but that's what they want to see. So let's go take a look at some examples quickly. I do want to show you some agents that work for us that I think are doing a great job. And if you're not on this list and you work for us, please don't be offended. I just picked a few that popped into my head this morning that I wanted to share with everyone, because I do think that these agents are good for you to follow. And the good theme about all of these agents here is that you're going to actually, you know what, I'm going to do this from my phone because I think it'll be faster. So hold on 1 second. Stop that share. And I'm going to share from my phone. So hold on 1 second. Perfect. Okay. So I am going to show you some agents here that are doing a really good job. So first, I'm going to show you Bob Dean, because I know a lot of you are sitting there going, well, I'm not a millennial. Well, that's not an excuse, because neither is Bob. But Bob does a fantastic job with his content, okay? So you're going to see Bob do a few things that I really, really like, okay? You're going to see him share content. I hint on this earlier. You don't always have to create your own content. You can share other content from other people that you know that your audience will care about. Now, Bob tries to own the beaches, right? And he does a very good job of it. So Bob decided to share Clearwater Beach is awesome. Now, I love this. Now, is Bob going to get credit for all the engagement on the post that he posts? No. But he knows that his audience in Clearwater, which is where he's trying to work, will care about it. And so he shares it. Okay, so I'm okay with that. But Bob also does a great job at this. Shows his success, right? Another deal closed. Very subtle, but picture of Bob closing it. Bob will share stuff, right, from Madeira Beach. Cool. That's where he works, okay? But at the same time, Bob will also do a bunch of other content. And look how consistent. There's a post we created for him, right? As I mentioned, for our agents, we create daily content. Now, what I love about Bob, though, is that he'll take this and he'll make it his own. He'll write his own copy sometimes, but he'll take the imagery and he's leveraging it, okay? He's posting stuff like this. And then Bob does a great job, too, of going live and doing a lot of live videos and really just engaging. But you get my point. Do you guys see a theme in his content? Nope. Don't overthink themes, guys. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. And how much real estate have you seen? Not a lot, right? But he's still subtly associating himself to real estate because there was that picture just not too long ago of him closing. If I come in to learn a little bit about Rob, what's the first thing I see? Realtor at Central 20 and Beggins, real estate. Boom. Those are subtle things. But Bob knows that if he wants people to actually see this, he's got to get them engaged, right? Now, we also have people like Jessica. Now, Jessica is Craig's daughter. I hope she's watching so she can get really embarrassed. So Jessica does an amazing job, right, of posting. Now, Jessica's younger, but Jessica has really taken a lot of the advice. She's not as consistent sometimes as we want her to be, but she's done a great job of saying, you know what, I need to adapt my business. I need to adapt my content. So she started her own podcast, right? Anchor.fm, free podcast tool. Jessica knows that one thing she does very well is communicate. So she was doing that via video, but now she's added the audio portion to it because she knows some people like to listen more than they like to watch. Boom. Now Jessica has it in here and she's posting a ton of funny content mixed in, right? Mixed in with some real estate stuff, but also just her being her, showing that she's a human being. This is all really, really good stuff. Human being. She's a person, but she also does real estate. But she's a person, but she also does real estate, right? You guys see the theme here? She's mixing it in so that you get to know her and you get to experience the fact that she also is a real human being who has real interests, who does real things. Okay, so she's a great example. Now, a good buddy of mine who does not work for us, but I love what Jonathan does, is Jonathan Knight. He's the top agent in West Virginia with Century 21. And he's only, I think, in his third year in the business now, but very good friend of mine. And I have all the respect in the world for Jonathan. So Jonathan does an amazing job. So show you his content real quick. Again, you're going to see a common theme of people that are doing it really well, right? Engaging content. Now, the best thing that Jonathan does is he focuses 100% on engagement. How many of your posts are getting 64 comments? I don't know. Probably not many, right? But Jonathan's is. He's not doing anything special. Let's see how many people follow this page. Let's see, 92 mutual friends. Let's see all friends. Oh, I can't see it because he's got that part blocked. But let's see. Won't tell me here. Hold on. I can't see it. But not that many, right? It's not like he's got 100,000, but he's posting content that's his area that's getting engagement. 19 comments. Okay. All different kinds of stuff. But now once he gets that engagement, he can also mix in real estate. Boom, real estate. Boom, real estate. Real estate. Real estate. Engaging. And him. Show my past. Show my history. Guys, this isn't complicated. It's just a matter of, so I can't express enough when it comes to the content and sharing it that we can't overthink it, right? We just can't. So another great example, there's plenty of other agents, but just due to time, I wanna stop there and go into the next part of it. Now we need to prospect, okay? There's 2 ways to prospect, and we're gonna hit this very quickly. One of my favorite ways, and this will work on Facebook, this will work on Instagram, this will work on anything. Go back here. This search bar, guys, is super powerful. So as an example, if I search for sale by owner, let's say I was working for sale by owners, and I come up to this search bar in Facebook, if I could type, and did for sale by owner, and click search, I can now come in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it in Marketplace. Come into Marketplace and click for sale by owner. Jesus, for sale by owner. I can actually segment this out. I can sort, and I can sort by category. I can sort by a bunch of different things. But I can find for sale by owner properties that are on Facebook. Now, why do I like it on Facebook? Because I literally can message this seller right through here. And if I'm being really strategic from a social prospecting perspective, I could actually click on this guy and see him or her and learn about them. Click see profile, right? So I can actually come and learn a little bit about them. Where are they from? Who are they? Okay. Obviously have kids. I can engage, right? So I can actually learn a little bit, but direct contact. So now if I had created that for sale by owner guide, I learn a little bit about them. I can take this address, which we're going to go into in a little bit later today with me and Otis is going to take you through Remind. I can put this address in Remind, get some data, and then send them through Messenger the for sale by owner guide. Would that bring value? Potentially. It's creating that framework, guys. So from a prospecting perspective, you could search anything in search of home, right? Just search it. And then actually I'm going to do that in regular Facebook. So come up to regular search bar in just Facebook and put in search of rental. Or actually, most of you don't want to do that. So just do search of home. And if I click post, this will actually index posts from people that are in search looking for recommendations. Home babysitter, I don't know, maybe give her one. But I can actually find potential people that have posted about looking to rent or buy something. And again, I can segment in search of homes. Oh, whoops, I had it there. In search of homes, scroll down just to give you an example. For retirement, boom. Do I want to reach out to Kirk? Yep. So again, search bar is super powerful, guys. Use it. Go in there, search stuff. You will find some really cool stuff. Okay, so that's how we prospect for free using social. Are there any questions before we dive out of here? Otis, anything you want to add to anything that I just showed? No, you're on mute.
Yeah, I've got, when you're looking to deliver anything like an open house or if it's a listing that you have for sale or anything along those lines, you definitely want to make sure that when you're, again, I'm going to repeat myself, call to action landing page, call to action landing page. Or if it's an open house, you can call to action, send direct message, call to action. Here's the house for a private showing, send a direct message for frequently asked questions on this home, send direct message. So that way, again, you're getting engagement. And once you get to engage them, then you can dance the dance. But the big part is getting it out there and then engaging them.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this afternoon. Come back if you're interested in trying to work expireds, find prospective sellers, any of that. You do not want to miss Otis's Remind class. I will be there to assist him as well. But please come back, join us for that class at 2. But right now, enjoy a nice break. And then right after the break, Jeff and Chris are going to dive into for sale by owners, which is an awesome, awesome class. And then we're going to go into Remine, and that will actually hit on some more for sale by owners as well as expireds and just really anyone looking to sell. So enjoy a nice break, guys. And if you need any help, please reach out to me. My email is mikepuma@c21be.com. Feel free to reach out with any questions or comments, and I'm happy to help. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Otis, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you in a little bit.